Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to another edition of PGR Thursday Night Heat Racing. Tonight from the virtual Talladega Superspeedway. We welcome you in to the Ghost Racing Network this evening. I'm your host, Austin Wise. Tonight, a little bit different. Normally, you'd be hearing from Austin tonight. We've switched spots. I picked up the microphone, and Austin is going to be on track for us here just shortly. Actually, he's top of the board in practice right now. So we will get to see Austin here in just a little bit. Wanted to get live a little bit early tonight to kind of explain why I'm here and Austin's not, and also to give you a rundown here of tonight's events. Really quickly, I will intro my broadcast partner this evening. That is, as usual, Mr. Matthew Baker. Baker, how you doing?
Oh, doing good tonight. Excited to watch these cars go around. We've got at least a full feature field tonight. 43 trucks, looking like probably 45 trucks. Gonna look for some good racing. You got high humidity, a little bit lower of a track temp, but it's definitely gonna produce some good racing, especially coming from that outside lane.
Absolutely, and we will look at that race info a little bit later. The temp is changing a lot, so we're gonna wait till a little bit closer to race time, give you a more accurate look at that track temp, hovering right in the mid-80s right now. A lot of cloud cover on this 2.5-mile racetrack, 2.66 miles. To be exact. These guys are in practice right now. We're getting ready to go to qualifying. It is a very large field tonight. Top 30 will make the field on qualifying. And we're going to get to go through that actually for the first time tonight, live in real time. You'll get to see the times come across the board. We'll see who makes it and who doesn't. And so we'll get to that here in about 8 minutes time or so. Before that main race, though, we will have an LCQ race, so the guys that do not make the top 30 on time are going to race for those final 13 spots tonight. Yep, count of 13, not 10. Bumping the field back to 43 total entries for tonight's event. We've got some bigger payouts. We'll talk about those a little bit later, closer to our feature event. And let's get a look at some trucks on track here during practice. So a pretty rare look at trucks on track during practice. We don't typically get this. Figured we'd get a little bit different look tonight. And there we go. There's the man of the hour, Mr. Austin Green in the 87. He's racing tonight. Some antics going on in practice, but good to see Austin out here. Bit of a change of pace. Normally you'd see me out there and him up here, but instead he's picked up the steering wheel tonight, so we'll keep track of the boss man, per se, and keep an eye on where he is running, see if he makes it into our feature event tonight. A lot of your normal heavy hitters are back. The Dale Cup boys, Steve Karosik, Gabe Butler, Zach Lima, they are here. As well as most of NBG Motorsports. We'll get to some guys that are not racing here really quickly. Just some housekeeping for you. Firstly, Alex Hill will not be racing in tonight's event, suspended a few weeks ago as a part of a racing incident. So he is serving his suspension tonight. As well as league owner Michael Triscaro, not racing tonight. Some other issues going on there. Some technical issues are not allowing him to race. We'll hear from him in a little bit as well. He's going to join us in the booth at times during tonight's race, giving us his perspective from up here as well on the racing tonight. Looking through our field, 6.5 minutes to go until we hit the high banks for qualifying. We're looking now at Ron Morris Jr. He is back in that pretty iconic 76 machine. We're looking at who else is on track. Heath Job getting a nice promotion this week in PGR. Good to see him out here. The OSM boys rolling 3 deep at least tonight. Heath Job, Sean Corbett, Ryan Bass, they are all here. And all, I believe, sporting new paint schemes. Nice sporty looking trucks for that group as well tonight. A little bit more of a full field rundown for you. There's DJ Thomas. You come to know him on Thursday nights. He's run the last couple. He's back yet again tonight trying his hand. A lot of people on track. We get around here. William Fox getting passed by the OSM trucks. He's back for another attempt. Same with David Drohan. Same with Michael Menchaca, all back on track this week. And there is Mr. Steve Karosik of Dale Cup, a man who is very well known in PGR now. He's up front a lot. Expect him to be close or on the pole here when we get to qualifying in about 5 minutes or so. And as we hit 5 minutes, I do believe we still have Mr. Triscaro with us in the booth. Mike, if you've got your ears on still, how you feeling about tonight's race? Give us some unique perspective.
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. I wish I was racing tonight, but have some technical difficulties here at the house as everyone has come to find out, I'm actually interested to see this Dale Cup resurgence here. Steve Korosek won the other night, I believe, in RMR. He's got Lima back tonight. Gabe Butler, and it looks like Austin Green is racing with them. So look for that team to give these NBG guys a good run for their money. I'm really thinking, the win could come from that Dale Cup team tonight.
Certainly wouldn't be a surprise if Dale Cup can go back to victory lane once again. Another edition of Thursday Night Heat. We talked about some of the heavy hitters that are there. Some more loading in now as we roll towards qualifying. We talked a little bit about NBG being short a couple of members tonight. Obviously, Baker up here with me. Alex Hill has to sit out tonight's race, so they are 3 strong tonight. As Matt Lee, Jeff Merck, Cody Nagels, they will all be in attendance. Looking at some more of the teams. Daniel Eberhardt is here. Jason Maines is here. Some of the McCullough boys. Christian Sanford, who won a couple of weeks ago, he is back to try his hand once again. John Ellis is in attendance tonight as well. Dylan Jones is in attendance. We'll see if he can break the top 30 tonight or if we're going to see him in the LCQ race once again. Although he does tend to be pretty good in those races, so we're going to have to see what Dylan Jones does. I will briefly mention, and I think I'm going to go ahead and mention this now. We got a lot of people in here, so we will go ahead and bring this up. There is a big bonus tonight, and it actually is a huge bonus for potentially Mr. John Ward. And we will double check and make sure he will be here. He is here now. So get a load of this. He won the Wednesday night race last night for PGR. And now that he has won that race, there is a $250 bonus tonight if a driver goes and wins the last chance qualifier, wins the feature race, and leads the most laps in that feature race. But since John Ward won last night, he would be eligible for a $500 bonus if he can do all 3 of those things after winning last night's event. So we'll have to keep an eye on the 92. I have been told he is going to go for it, so we will have to see if he does take a qualifying lap or not. But John Ward, it seems to be, will go for the massive bonus, also being the defending Thursday night winner. So a lot on the line tonight for John Ward of McCullough Motorsports. We'll see how that goes. I will ask briefly, Baker, while we're still in practice, before you get to doing your job here, what do you think of Ward deciding to go for it in the LCQ race?
Well, I think it's a good move for him. He's got a lot of momentum on his side. His past couple of weeks, he's been on a roll. It's really good to see him out there. He'll have teammates around him every now and then, but usually when he gets up front, he's leading that outside lane, and someone's pushing him. As soon as he clears down, he's really able to manage those lanes and control those lanes. And he's got those Dega Pro sessions that come up. If you are a smaller racer, you don't want to have a bigger entry fee, $5, $10 entry fees. He runs them every night, every day throughout the day, and it really shows off the practice that he puts in, especially at this track at Dega. He's done really well. But another person that I'd like to talk about is Devin Ray. He was one of those trucks that pushed me tonight in one of the Dega Pro races that I ran. And I don't know where he's came from, but him and Ryan Baste have become one of the better pushers in the service. And if they get hooked up tonight, I think OSM could maybe get their first win.
Yeah, we did mention the OSM guys all sporting new paint schemes tonight, open to go quick. And you're right. Ryan Baste, Devin Ray, those guys are impressive. And they are going to be tough to beat if they get out front, especially if Devin can get around John Ward. Those guys are good if they get hooked up, like you said. And we'll have to see if John does decide to go for it in the LCQ race. First of all, he's got to make the feature race. But if he does, boy, that could be a heck of a trio to fight some of these bigger teams. And that's going to be the story of the night, I think. You're going to see, guys, this is where the smaller teams give their best punch to those big groups. And I think tonight's going to be a good chance for some of those teams to do just that. We'll have to see. 30 seconds left on the practice clock. A lot of guys getting their last runs in. Speaking of OSM, 1 through 3 on the practice charts. For those boys, Sean Corbett, Ryan Baste, Heath Job, 1, 2, and 3, followed by our own Mr. Austin Green. Steve Korosik, Gabe Butler, Zach Lima for Dale Cup there, up there as well. But practice is over. It no longer matters. Qualifying is where you make the money tonight. 30 guys are about to lock their way into our 40-lap feature. As our clock hits 0, we will go to qualifying. We will pick a few guys to spotlight in this qualifying session just to try to show you the art of qualifying at Talladega. Again, another thing we don't usually get to see, but one I want to focus on. As the clock is going to reset, we're going to go to qualifying, and we'll wait for some guys to get on track. And I think the guy we want to watch as we get on track here is going to be Steve Korosik. I think that's going to be a good indicator of the art of qualifying. And I do want to watch some of these guys. We wait for Steve to jump on track here. A lot of guys getting on pit lane, getting ready to start their laps. Gabe Butler, one of them. Matt Lee as well for NBG. Cody Nagels as well. We get a quick look at Cody here before Steve gets on track. And, sharp looking paint scheme on that 6 machine. That's new for Cody Nagels.
Yeah, he put together a bunch of paint schemes for us. Martin Sports came on board for NBG Motorsports. Want to shout out them. Thanks for coming on board our team owner for NBG, and he's a great guy. They've got great apparel, and Cody went out of his way and made paint schemes for all of our team, and they look really sharp. And we'll shout out for him for making those paints for us.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll get to see a couple of the other ones here. We'll spotlight them a little bit later on, but the other 2 NBG teammates that are in this race both have new schemes as well, as you heard Baker just talking about right there. As Cody comes around to start his timed lap, we will take a quick look here. We'll let Cody run his lap. And I just want to focus on this because this is it's so impressive to me, and I don't think it gets spotlighted enough, just how intricate qualifying is, how precise you have to be, and Cody is a perfect example of it. He is one of the best in the game at qualifying and getting to the top of the charts. Imagine he will do so on this qualifying lap. And then we'll get some of the later goers here in the qualifying effort. Andrew Navarro has made his way in as well. Not yet on track for qualifying. Same with Kenny McCullough. He is here. Kenneth Stamper is here. Cody up off of turn number 4 in his qualifying lap. A lot of guys going to be completing their laps. You're going to see times flash on our left side of our screen here. Cody through the trial down to the line. First time's coming. Dustin Carruthers top of the board for now. But it doesn't last long. Cody Nagels to the top of the charts, a 56.18. As laps start to flash in here, Gabe Butler goes 3rd behind Carruthers. How about Dustin Carruthers beating some of the bigger guys on qualifying? Good effort by the 10.
And another not smaller team name. KSR is pretty big, but they really run Dega races just like Dega Pros. They have the KSR free lobbies that they put up, and they practice a ton together. So good qualifying effort by him. That win's really starting to take a factor in. You see Davenport up into the 3rd spot. You get David Sheets there in 2nd. Jeff Merck into 4th, one of his best qualifying efforts. McCullough just goes 2nd.
Yeah, you'll see some of the bigger names come across here as they waited just a few extra seconds to run their qualifying laps. Daniel Eberhardt, Kenny McCullough. There's Austin, 6th for now. Should be good, I think, to make the feature, so we'll get to see the boss man running the 40-lap feature event. There goes Matt Lee for NBG. He goes P3. Behind his teammate Cody Nagels for the time being. Jeff Merck, their teammate, goes 8th quick. So all 3 NBG trucks inside the top 8. There's Ryan Baste. Good effort by the 73. I think he's gonna lock his way into the feature tonight instead of having to run that LCQ race. Great effort by Ryan Baste. Great effort by David Sheets in P5 in the 06. Going a little bit further back, looking for some guys that are on the tail end of this field. Mark Von Dell is back there. As guys complete their qualifying efforts here. Devin Ray, Heath Job in the feature as of right now, 18th and 19th quick. So OSM will have 3 representatives in the feature race if the results hold. Bubble truck right now is Noah Terpak. About a 10th off the pole lap, and that's how close it can be. A 56.28 does not make the feature. A 56.27 does make the feature. That's just how close it can be, and you can tell guys have been working on qualifying. That's been a pattern for the last few weeks. I even found it hard myself last week to qualify any higher than about 15th in the qualifying efforts, where in a couple weeks before that I was 6th, 7th, 8th. So guys have perfected their craft for sure. John Ellis goes fourth quick as we get ready to wrap up qualifying and get into our last chance qualifier event.
Looks like we got 49 trucks out here tonight. So we're going to have 6 driver going home here in the LCQ. Top 13 are going to advance in. Just look for John Ward to try and get to the front like we talked about.
We will briefly go through your grid for your LCQ event right here. You're seeing the first little bit of it on the pole for our last chance qualifier race. Mark Vondel in the 59. He'll have to race his way in. Josh Penland is to his outside in position number 2. Noah Terpak does not make the feature. He will roll third in our LCQ event. Rolling fourth will be DJ Thomas in the 28. David McGuire will roll from 5th with David Werner to his outside. Michael Menchaca will roll from the inside of row number 4 with Kenneth Gallman to his outside. Jacob Emery rolls from 9th with Clint Moda rounding out your top 10.
In 11th, you got Caleb Sibbett, Michaela Steffies in 12th, David Rohan 13th, Andrew Navarro, first one not putting down time in 14th, John Ward in 15th, Steve Korosek, and Zachary Lima 16th, 17th, 18th. Got Sierra Clamper. She had a little bit of internet issues. Hopefully she got that stabled out. And then you got Christopher McCullough rounding out the field 19th.
So 19 total trucks for 13 spots. That's going to be your last chance qualifier. 15 laps. It'll be all manual cautions. As we'll get the info pulled up for you here in just a second. 15 laps, 60% fuel. That will not be an issue in a 15-lap race. They do have a fast repair if we get a caution. 3 green-white checkered attempts if we need them. Although in the last few weeks, it's been a little bit relaxed. As long as it's not near those transfer positions, we should be good to race it all the way out if we have a wreck late in this one. Track temp is sitting, I think, right around where it was, although the sun has come out. Oh, yeah, it's up to 95 degrees, so don't look now. The track's getting awfully hot here at Talladega as we close in on our feature race. But before that, we got 15 laps of last chance qualifier action for you. Field is on the grid. They're rolling now. Behind Mark Vondel in the 59. Interesting to see him. I thought he was going to lock his way into the feature. A Tuesday Night Thunder winner from a couple of weeks ago. So you can see if Mark Vondel can make his way into our 40-lap feature event. And I think you caught him at the end of the top 20. Ward, Lima, Korosik, all going to try their luck in the LCQ race. So it's not just John Ward. This could get really, really interesting because they are not starting in transfer spots. So they got a little bit of work to do back there. Do the Dale Cup boys and John Ward.
Yeah, look for Vondel to try and control early here with Noah. And look for Dale Cup to get 3 wide and get up there and try and get that win as quick as they possibly can. But Ward's not going to let that happen. He's going to be fighting really hard. And I think his momentum's going to carry over. I think he's going to get it done.
Well, he's certainly got a little bit of work to do. Actually, in fact, they're not the only big names that have attempted this, as Chris McCullough and Andrew Navarro are also in this field, which rounds us to 5 drivers attempting for that $250 bonus if they can win this race. It's going to be really interesting here in just a few minutes, I can tell you that much, because those guys back there, they are not going to wait to get up to the front of this field. They're going to get hooked up. They know each other well. They're going to come rocketing to the front. These guys at the front better be ready. They're going to have a very early push from those big names a little bit further back. 15 laps will get us started this evening. The appetizer for our 40-lap main event coming up in just a little bit. For now, though, pace car makes the hard left. We'll leave the field in the hands of Mark Vondel in the 59. And the field gets ready to roll here for our last chance qualifier event. Who will make the field? Who will go home? Will any of the big names fail to make our 40-lap race? We're about to find out. Mark Vondel into the Geico restart zone for the first time. Green flag is in the air. We are underway in the last chance qualifier race for Thursday Night Heat. Pretty much dead even through 1 and 2. DJ Thomas trying his best to give a nice shove to Josh Penland there in the 38. It's not really working for him, though, so far. Now it starts to roll a little bit the middle. Getting to roll now as the 15 of David Warner gets to the back of DJ Thomas, and there they go. Navarro, Karosik, McCullough, Lima up against the wall and rocketing towards the front. No surprise, they did not wait at all. Let's see how quick they can get up. Navarro is inside the top 10 already. Field in the hands now of Penland as he pokes his nose out front off 4.
That's a terrifying duo. As you see a block coming to the high lane, that's a terrifying trio that you're seeing coming on the high lane, trying to get towards the front. All the big hitters trying to work their way from the back after not qualifying and getting up front. Navarro's already going to push himself clear, maybe Steve as well, but he doesn't. He stays up high. They're still going to have a ton of momentum.
Yep, Navarro goes top to middle. No surprise there. He's going to control the lanes because he trusts those guys in the outside line. It's Karosik with the help of the McCullough boys and his teammate Zach Lima. They are rolling. Ooh, contact. Navarro and Vondell, and Vondell's going to go around. Mark Vondell, and he bounced off the outside wall a ton. Smoke pouring out the back of the 59 as he gets it righted. That is a devastating blow for Mark Vondell's chances to make the feature event. Up front, though, the scramble allowed McCullough to go to the lead with the help of John Ward. So all of a sudden, that bonus, he could see it. 14 laps from that bonus. He's got to stay calm, though, up here at the front of the field. But now all the big hitters are up here as Ward jumps in front of Carosi for the lead. They're going to take him 3 wide all the way out to the fence. Goes Dale Cup.
Oh, big bobble by McCullough. He's going to get up back in front of John Ward. They worked well together last night. He's going to roll here in the middle, though. Navarro doesn't really have any help to his back bumper. The 2 Dale Cup boys on the outside really rolling right now.
Yeah, and they got some added help from DJ Thomas jumping up behind him now. The help is just disintegrating for the boys in the middle for McCullough. Steve drops across Chris, and that was awfully close. McCullough goes middle to bottom. Ward trying to go with him.
Ooh, Ward was almost going to get turned there. That cooler heads prevailed on the bottom. I don't know who that was, but he really bailed out John Ward there.
And now Karosik gets hung out. Lima goes up to get him. Now we're lane switching like crazy, like it's rush hour traffic. Chris McCullough to the lead. The bottom, not a lot of help. John Ward and Clint Moda down there. McCullough goes to pick up his teammate. Up top, DJ Thomas with the help of, I believe, Kenneth Gallman a little further back in the top 10. As Lima goes to the lead as we get it settled out with 12 laps to go. What a crazy 2 to 3 lap scramble there. As guys start to look out of line, but up front, though, I think these big guys have decided, all right, we've done all we want to do. Now let's calm it down a little bit. Dale Cup, Navarro, McCullough, DJ Thomas, and others just kind of trying to log laps, get to the end of this thing.
You see Lima drop down to the bottom. Dale Cup going to control both lines. Chris McCullough has been doing a really good job this week pushing on the bottom lane. But this wind is really affecting that bottom lane. You could see that Lima's not even really trying to fight the car down, but he's getting pushed up the track from this wind coming out of the north.
A new twist to Thursday Night Heat. Some wind going to give these guys some problems. And right now it may not seem like a big issue, but when we're 3 and 4 wide in that feature race here in about 20 minutes or so, boy, that's going to create some issues with these guys as close as they like to run together. Oh, there you see it with the 0-4, I think. Chris McCullough just kind of gets dragged up the racetrack a little bit. Ooh, bobble a little further back. That was Kenneth Gallman in the 71. Navarro to the back bumper of Karosik, but unfortunately for them, DJ Thomas kind of stuck in that weird gap on that outside line. Now he's up to him. Top line starting to roll a little bit. David Warner coming back towards the front. All Zach Lima in 3 and 4.
Great, strong run from the bottom here. The track really took the grip towards the bottom. It looks like it's really dominant when they have 3 trucks lined up. But you know Navarro's going to try and push Steve clear here, get those Dale Cup boys lined up instead of controlling both lines. Yeah,
absolutely. The goal here, I think, is just to log some laps. I think these big guys know that. They should know that anyway. Obviously, it will get a little bit complicated the further we go in the race, knowing that that bonus is going to be on the line when we get to the white flag a little bit later on. Boy, bobbles all over the place. Everyone is struggling. 3 wide as the 49 of Michaela Steffes goes to the top. Unfortunately, no help to be found. Michaela all by her lonesome up against the wall. Help coming in the form of, I'm not sure exactly what truck that is. A National Guard truck up against the wall. I cannot tell for the life of me which truck that is. I think it's, I don't know. Up front, though, Lima, Karosik, McCullough, Navarro, Ward, Thomas, they've stayed the top 6 for about the last 5 or 6 laps now. It's not 5 or 6, 4 or 5. It's been since early, since we had that scramble where Mark Vondel got into the inside wall. He's now 2 laps down, so chances for him very low. He's going to need some help here with these guys getting to race, getting a little bit more racy. Towards the back of this field is, Karosik. Did he drift up because of the wind? That was awfully close. Navarro almost hit him in a really bad spot there in the exit of turn 2.
They're 4 wide back by the transfer position. Sorry to cut you off. They're door banging back there.
That's Jacob Emery that's involved in that one, as well as the 13 of Caleb Sibbett. They're going to wreck, I think. Jacob Emery is up into the outside wall. One going around. I think that was Sibbett in the 13. No, it was not. And a caution flag will come out. We'll get a little bit better look at that here. We might get a little bit better look at that here. Maybe not. It did not even register as a crash. It was Caleb Sibbett. So unfortunately, we will have to back it up the hard way here and get a look at what happened around the 13 and the 20. You called it, Baker. They were 4 wide. Here in the middle of 3 and 4 contact. Jacob Emery up into the outside wall. The 49 of Michaela Steffes. Oh, then gets turned by the 16 of Michael Menchaca. Noah Terpak is involved. But they all kept it going for the most part. Jacob Emery turns off the outside wall. And, yeah, looks like everybody, I think, kept it going, but probably a fair caution considering we did have a couple of guys sideways there in the middle of 3 and 4. So under our first caution of the LCQ race, Andrew Navarro is your leader under this first caution. And since those big guys got out front, it's been smooth sailing for them at the front of the field. Navarro, Lima Karosik, Chris McCullough, DJ Thomas, and John Ward. Since they got to the front, really not a ton of change once they made their moves and kind of got in line, settled in for the run towards the end of this 15-lap event. So we will be crossing 7 laps to go when we hit the start-finish line right here. And now's when it starts to get interesting, because now you've got Navarro out front, you've got a pair of teammates behind him, you've got a pair of McCullough teammates a little further back. They're going to be 4th and 6th. And the wild card in all this is DJ Thomas, who, by the way, is still eligible for $250. Everyone in this field would be eligible for that bonus if they were to win this event. So the wild card here is Thomas. He's not affiliated with one of these big teams, so we saw him work with Dale Cup earlier. How long does that last? We're going to find out his allegiance here pretty shortly. It's going to be about a 5-lap dash to the end of our last chance race. Back around the transfer spots, we'll update you really quickly. The last transfer spot as of right now on live scoring would go to Kenneth Gallman in the 71. Some guys with some work to do. Michael Menchaca, Noah Terpak, Jacob Emery. That caution actually helps Mark Vondel. He is still on track. He's back to only 1 lap down. So one more caution, and Vondel could be very well back in this. So we will have to see here as we get closer to the end if Vondel can get a little bit more help from these guys up front, get a little racy, see if he can get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, I don't see the front 4 really trying to make any, rash moves. John Ward going to be starting 6th. Look for him to probably jump up 3 wide. He's got a teammate in front of him, and I think that teammate will go with him top of 3 to try and get that momentum going. But as soon as that happens, you know that Korsek's going to jump in front, or behind Lima. That'll be on the top lane there.
Absolutely, you're right. The teammates, you're going to get to see some teamwork right here before the feature race. We don't usually get to see this early on in the night, so be looking forward to that here as these guys come around to take 1 lap to go under the pace car. Some more guys in this field that may make the race. Josh Penland, Caleb Sibbett. What an effort it would be for him if he could make his way into the feature. Clint Moda, David McGuire, David Drohan. Some guys that maybe don't normally make the feature that now all of a sudden find themselves in a prime position to make it, assuming they can hold on to those last few transfer spots. It'll be 1 to go. We're going to rack them up behind the pace car, and we're going to get it back going. 5 laps to go in the LCQ. So Navarro picks bottom. Good choice. Obviously does not want to put the teammates together on the bottom line. So the bottom will be Navarro, Karosik, Thomas, Werner. That's your front four on the bottom. Up top, Lima, McCullough, Ward, and David McGuire. So expect a move out of the 04 and the 92 here pretty quickly, I would imagine, off this start. They want to hang Lima out as quickly as possible and make it to where maybe Karosik doesn't have time to get up. We'll see how early they decide to go. But this could get really hairy for Zach Lima in a hurry, especially if the help goes with the McCullough boys to the outside wall. If the help goes with them, all of a sudden Zach Lima and potentially his teammate Karosik will be in the sucker hole in the middle, and that could spell disaster on a short run. We'll have to see how it fares for them. Obviously, these guys up front, these big dogs want this to go green. They want it to stay how it is. They don't want anybody behind them to do anything out of their way to make moves to get past them right here. Obviously, these front six would like to settle it themselves. And so with 5 laps to go, we will get at least one more restart. We do have 3 green-white checkered attempts if we do happen to need them. But like I said, the last few weeks we have not used at least more than 1 per LCQ race. Typically, these do run out all the way to the end. So we'll have to see. Here we go. Pace car is down, leaving the field in the hands of Andrew Navarro in the 42. The field tightens up behind him, getting ready to go. 5 laps to determine our final 13 drivers in our 43 truck field tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. The long creep into the Geico restart zone. Minutes feel like hours for these guys in transfer spots right now. Green flag back in the air from Talladega. It's Navarro and Lima. Off we go to turn 1.
Looks like Sierra dropped out. She just had really bad internet issues. Tough break for her, but moved someone up into a transfer spot there, where she was sitting inside of a transfer spot coming to that restart. And as we talk about the restart, you got a great push from Steve on the bottom line. He's not going to clear himself up. That's what he wanted to try and do. The third car just wasn't tucked up enough. Now there's only 3 trucks on the bottom. Momentum's going to go back, and they're fanning out behind the top 7.
Yep, starting to fan out back towards those transfer spots. That's right around Caleb Sibbett in the 13 as he goes backwards in a hurry. Out of a transfer spot goes the 13 as they jockey for position a little further back. David Werner goes top to bottom, now back to the top behind John Ward. He's trying to decide where he wants to go. Same with Noah Terpak, same with David McGuire. Those guys safely in a spot for now, but I don't know how long it's going to last. Clint Mota looked 3 wide, nothing there. 4 laps to go in the LCQ. Still Lima Navarro drag racing, about a 6-truck breakaway at the front. Behind them, guys, watch on, trying to figure out a line to go to.
Well, you know Lima's going to be content with riding there in the top lane, and McCullough's got to make a decision now if he needs to hang him out. They need a couple laps to get... Oh, he's going to turn him! They're all going to wreck!
And they do. They pile up. It's Navarro and several others. John Ward, I believe, is in this as well. No, he is not. John Ward escaped this wreck unscathed, but several others did not, and that includes Andrew Navarro. It includes Steve Karosik. It includes Chris McCullough. Oh, my goodness. Disaster for these guys at the front, as Navarro is trying to labor that truck back to pit road at the very least. McCullough looks to have maybe survived okay at least. Yep, it's only some front-end damage for the 04. Navarro, boy, he got the brunt of that. That's some... It's not terminal if he can make it back to his pit box, but it's going to for sure be a fast repair. Now he's got work to do. Karosik, he's got some pretty heavy left front damage on that truck as well. You saw it happen live. We will go back, try to get a look at it here as we got our yellow flag. We'll try to get back to the right spot, and then, yeah, we're already back past it. We got to go. Oh, it's a bad push in the middle. I think it's going to be a bad push right here by Chris McCullough. Yep, he got off center with the 4. Turn him to the left, and Navarro, oh man, unsuspecting, and all of a sudden he's going sideways. And these guys are going to hit the inside wall a ton. We saw this happen. Big hit to the inside wall, and then Steve piles into him. Obviously nothing he can do. Oh man, Navarro gets pinballed. What a tough break for 3 of the big dogs now that are behind the 8 ball going to a green-white checkered.
Yeah, it just looks like, nothing intentional for McCullough. It just looks like, that wind pushing out of the north. It pushed Lima up the track just a tad. I mean, he's offset the left by the slightest bit, and then once it pushes him up the track, Chris can't bail out of the throttle quick enough.
Yep, just one of those deals. The guy this is going to help is Mark Vondel in the 59, who pulls up alongside the pace car, and there he goes. All of a sudden, he's back on the lead lap, so he got the caution he needed. Mark Vondel not out of this thing yet. We saw him get involved in that very early incident that did not bring out a caution. He's got both of his laps back, a mulligan for the 59, and he's going to be back there around those guys that we just saw get involved in that incident. Chris McCullough still on pit road, so we wait for him to come back out. Now he has just re-entered the racing surface. So flip the field on its head, if you will. John Ward actually decides to stay out. Zach Lima pitted in front of him, so John Ward inherits the lead. He'll be the leader on our first attempt at a green-white checkered. David Warner, Clint Moda, they cycle forward to second and third. DJ Thomas is fourth. David McGuire rounding out your top five. Looking a little further back, Josh Penland, David Drohan, Noah Turpak, Kenneth Gallman, Michael Menchaca are your top 10. The last three transfer spots, at least as they run right now, would go to Michaela Steffes, Jacob Emery, and Caleb Sibbett. But obviously the big story on this restart, Karosik, Lima, Navarro, McCullough will be starting 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. With 2 laps to go, they're going to have to do exactly what they did a few minutes ago and try to get back at least inside a transfer spot. I don't even think you can think about a win anymore if you're those guys, unless you really get on it, get hooked up, and head to the front. But at this point, I think your main focus just has to be making the race.
Absolutely. And, I don't think there's any other person that we should talk to besides John Ward to see what his perspective is to try and get this first wicket knocked off. How about we get a word with him? Hey, John, this is Matt and Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I got you.
Well, talk to us what you're thinking, what your mindset is going into this last restart. You don't have any teammates around you, not many people you know around you that you haven't raced with before. How are you going to pull this off and get that first wicket knocked off? And also, happy birthday.
Thank you. Let me turn these guys down. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the win. I'm going to try. That's the goal. The main goal is to finish in the top 13, but I'm going to give it my shot here. I don't know too many of these guys beside me. Hopefully they stay in line and we get a good finish here, as long as we get top 13. But I'm going to try to go for the win and try to get this one. I'll see. I'm going to try to hold the bottom. We'll see if we can get a run.
Well, I know everyone else in the server is looking for you to get it, and wish you luck here, Ward.
Thank you, Baker.
Get to talk to him, and birthday boy out here trying to get it done.
That would be a heck of a birthday present to win $500 if he can go to victory lane in our feature. First of all, he's got to finish this race off. But boy, if he can do that, it's one step closer to what would be a monumental bonus for John Ward. What a payday that would end up being. That would be one of the biggest paydays that I've seen in my short time here. And for a weekly event at that, boy, an 800 potential payday for John Ward, I believe, if I've done the math correctly, for that $500 bonus plus the $300 winning pot that we've got tonight. A little bit bigger than normal. John Ward, motivated. If anybody can do it, at least out of this field, I don't know. John Ward, he's on a heck of a roll lately. I think he's got enough momentum to do it. He's got to finish this race off first, though, and now he looks up. He's got no help, at least in the form of teammates. He's got a bunch of hungry guys that know about that same $250 bonus that anyone in this field can get, and that lured some of those big dogs into this field to try to run him down. So here we go. First attempt at our green-white checkered in the last chance qualifier race. Heck of a race we've had, by the way, to start the evening, to even just set our field. This is just the appetizer, the main course here in a few minutes. First, we got to settle this one off. Can John Ward get the job done in our LCQ event? Into the tri-oval we come. To the Geico restart zone. He'll have the restart. 2 laps to go. Attempt number 1 at a green-white checkered. Who's going to make the field? Green flag is back in the air. Ward is off and running. Unfortunately, his help is not with him. He's going to go immediately to the middle line, try to block. It may have been just a little bit too late, and he gets stuck, and now his help has evaporated. New leader, David Warner, on the outside.
I don't know. I still think Ward's in the catbird seat here. You're going to see all those big dogs trying to get up top of 3 wide. Navarro's going to try and get to the outside of Lima, but here they come. All of the big dogs. Oh, Turnpike's going to get a huge shot. They were lined up by 4, coming up 3 wide. The bottom's going to get killed here. Drop from the middle to the bottom line. Ward, like I said, I think he's in the catbird seat. He's clear to the middle line. The 51 is also clear to the middle line, but I think Ward's just going to stay in line as long as he can until he gets help to his back bumper.
I'm surprised Noah Turpak has not taken it yet, but probably a smart decision to try to hold the big dogs at bay. Now Turpak goes top to middle. Unfortunately, that opens the top for the 27 of Steve Karosik. White flag in the air for David Warner in our last chance qualifier. John Ward all over his back bumper. They're trying to run away from the big dogs. Ward is still clear to his outside. Now he is not. Karosik, oh, Ward clears up on top of Steve. Steve goes middle to top. He goes up against the wall. Navarro pops out of line as that line gets stalled. Ward's line is now stalled. Steve to the race lead on the back straightaway. His teammate is behind him. And a little further back, they jockey for the transfer spot. 3 wide, headed off into turn number 3.
The big dogs come up on the 3rd lane, and they make it happen. All of those people involved in the wreck last time came on the 3rd line, and they're all in the transfer spot. Ward giving a huge shot to and Navarro trying to clear up. He's still pushing through Navarro. Let's see if he can get it done. Navarro, this is his race to lose. I think Ward is going to not get there, but Navarro's going to get this win.
Trouble a little further back as one of the black and orange trucks got out of line. Andrew Navarro wins the LCQ event and is going to be eligible for our $250 bonus in the feature. Wow. A heck of a race, a heck of an appetizer. We'll take you through our finishing results very quickly before these guys get onto the grid. Navarro wins. Karosik is second. He is in the feature. Same with John Ward. He'll go third. Zach Lima makes sure he makes it as well. Noah Turpak is in. He finishes 5th. Chris McCullough finishes 6th. He is in as well. DJ Thomas found his way out of that 3-wide scramble. He finishes 7th. Caleb Sibbett, David Warner, Josh Penland, Jacob Emery, Clint Moda, and David McGuire are going to be your 13 transfers out of the LCQ event. Those that did not make the feature: David Drohan, Kenneth Gallman, Michaela Steffes, Mark Vondell, Michael Menchaca, and Sierra Clampert. So we have our 43 trucks that are going to take the green flag for our feature event here shortly. Wow, what a heck of an opening to tonight. How about that one, Baker? How about that getting us ready for our 40-lap main event?
Oh man, I'm excited. That was an absolutely amazing LCQ that we saw there. Great moves from the big dogs to get back to the front. I was kind of worried whenever they were stalled 3 wide. I didn't know if they were going to get back, but then all the shuffling started happening on the bottom 2 lines, and it gave them the run on the outside.
Yeah, heck of a scramble there on the back straightaway. It certainly came out of nowhere for a lot of those guys, and especially Andrew Navarro, who I was looking for since we have a warm-up. We do have a few extra minutes tonight that we could have talked to him. I don't see him. I was going to get a word in really quickly with him, but we don't see him, so we'll keep on keeping on as these guys go into a 5-minute warm-up period. 43 trucks are about to take the grid. All of the heavy hitters that you came to see are about to get onto the racetrack, and if that first race was any indication, this is going to be a heck of a main event. You do not want to miss this, and we will get to some more specifics about this race a little bit later on tonight. We'll get to our payouts here briefly in just a second as well. Obviously, we'll have to keep an eye on Navarro for that $250 bonus. But a lot of guys just out here for the main payouts.
Yeah, and payouts, talking about it tonight. We've got 49 trucks. Looking like we're going to have first place is going to get $220. Second place is getting $150. $125 to third, $100 to fourth, fifth, and sixth, $75 to seventh, and $50 to eighth. And then LCQ winner there got $30, Andrew Navarro.
So pretty good payouts still. Obviously, Navarro, he could go home with a heck of a payday still, even without having that $500 potential that John Ward had. So Navarro wins $30 for the LCQ. If he wins the feature, he gets $220. and obviously that $250 bonus if he can lead the most laps and win our feature event tonight. And I mean, if it's going to be anybody, like I said with John Ward, I think another incredible option to win that bonus, and a guy that can absolutely 100% lead the most laps in this feature event and win is Andrew Navarro. I mean, if you had to pick one guy, I think he'd be one of the first few names that you spit out of guys that could go and win this event and dominate doing it, especially with that money on the line. So expect Navarro to be charging forward here in this feature event. He's got some work to do to get there, but once he does, a little bit of extra inspiration on the line in the form of $250 for Andrew Navarro. There's some guys in here that want to keep him from doing that, though, and we'll get to talking about some of them here with about 2 minutes left before we take our grid for our main event. Obviously, it can't be a Thursday night heat without talking about the dominance that has been NBG Motorsports. Obviously, a couple members short tonight, but still 3 strong. They are going to be tough to deal with for this field, as Cody Nagels, Matt Lee, Jeff Merck are in the field tonight. They're starting up front, and they are going to stay there, trying to go home with another huge payday for those boys. Same with the mains team. Expect to see a lot of them up front as well. We talked about OSM. They're going to make a run at it tonight. And several other teams are in the field looking for that big-time payday once we get to the end of 40 laps. We've had a great few weeks of racing in PGR, and I've gotten to see some of it. I've gotten to race some of it. Now I'm getting to call some of it. I expect a good one. If you are here, be ready. This is a lot of fun. It's intense. It's going to be a great time here in just about 60 seconds when we put these trucks on the grid. And we will go through our starting grid here momentarily. It's another great field. A lot of the big hitters are here. I mean, we talked about it earlier. This is what you come to expect on Thursday nights. The big dogs come to play, and they certainly have come to play again tonight. This is a packed field, obviously, with the return of Zach Lima to Dale Cup tonight. They are full strength for the first time in what seems like a long time. So add another big team into the mix, a team that's going to be tough to deal with here in this feature event. 30 seconds to go. I seriously cannot wait. I've had fun so far. Hopefully you all have as well. Do want to stop briefly and appreciate the super chat from Cody Nagels, of course, right after we talk about him. That figures. No, but thanks, Cody, for that. Cody's been very vocal in the chat as well. Good to see you, Cody. Good luck tonight as he gets ready to make another run at his Thursday night heat payday. And here we go. The warm-up is done. It's time to put these guys on the grid. And we will get to our starting grid here once that clock hits 0 and we start to get some guys on the racetrack. This is what you came to see. This is the main event. This is what we all wait for on Thursday nights. It's 40 laps of high-intensity superspeedway racing. We're going to cover it all right here for you momentarily as we wait for these guys to jump onto the racetrack. There we go. There's our pole sitter, Cody Nagels. And with that, we will jump into our starting grid. Cody Nagels on the pole, the time of 56.183 to his outside, Daniel Eberhardt. Row number 2 will be Matt Lee, Cody's NBG teammate, and John Ellis. Only 6 1,000ths off the pole lap. Only another 1,000 back to Kenny McCullough on the inside of row number 3 with David Sheets to his outside. The first PGR driver rolls off from position number 7. That's Mike Davenport. Another great qualifying run for Mr. Mike Davenport. And Jason Maines will roll to his outside, looking to keep up his incredible run. There's Austin Green, our very own, rolling off from position number 9. We'll see what he can get done tonight. And the third and final NBG truck in the field tonight, Jeff Merck, rolls from position number 10.
11th, you got Dustin Carruthers for KSR. Ryan Baste for OSM in 12th. Great qualifying effort from him. You've got Dylan Jones putting down a lap. He usually never qualifies. In 13th there, John Mollahan, good return to see him back out here. In 14th, Gabe Butler, one of the Dale Cup boys, 15th. Casey Soul, 16th. Dylan Basson, 17th. Look for him to be working with the OSM boys tonight. Riley Stefani, 18th. Christian Sanford, 2 weeks ago, winner in 19th. And Ron Morris Jr. in 20th.
Rolling from 21st will be Heath Job, also for OSM, with Devin Ray, his teammate, to his outside. Kenneth Stamper will roll from 23rd with Sean Corbett for KSR in 24th position. Josh Robinson will roll from 25th with Joey Doucette in 26th. Row 14 will be Chris Blanchard in the 17, and Danny Barnes for PGR in 28th. Dylan Blackwell will roll from 29th with William Fox rounding out your top 30.
And round out your field is going to be your LCQ transfers, starting off with the winner, Andrew Navarro. Looking for him to try and get to the front as soon as he can. He leads the most laps here. He knocks off another wicket, and if he gets that win, he gets that 250 bonus, so he is eligible for that. Steve Korosek in 32nd, and John Ward just came up a little bit short in that LCQ, 33rd. 34th, you got Zachary Lima. Noah Turpak in 35th. 36th, Christopher McCullough, DJ Thomas in 37th. 38th, you got Caleb Sibbett. David Werner in 39th, Joshua Pendleton in 40th, Clint Mata in 41st, Jacob Emery in 42nd. Round out your field, Dave McGuire, your last transfer spot.
So that will make up your 43 truck main event field. It's 40 laps to the end of this one. Briefly, really quickly, we'll go through your race information tonight. We did say 40 laps for you, and that's not accurate, so we won't go through it. Most of it's accurate. 60% fuel for these guys. 1 fast repair is still accurate. 3 green-white checkered attempts if we need them. We'll get to those green-white checkered rules a little bit later on because it can get complicated. Until then, 40 laps on the horizon. The field in the hands of NBG Motorsports' Cody Nagels as he brings the field to the restart zone for the first time. Our main event about to get underway. Into the restart zone they come. Cody Nagels with Daniel Eberhardt to his outside. Green flag. We're racing in Thursday night heat. What a great start for Daniel Eberhardt. He's going to go immediately to the race lead. John Ellis now leads the outside line that's kind of discombobulated. Eberhardt says, okay, I'm going to go right back up there, pick up Ellis and Sheets. So an immediate lane change for the 90. The all-white 90 truck. A little further back, Jeff Merck. He's up into the top line now. Same with Austin Green. Same with John Mullahan. As guys look to get out of the line, get forward. Already some guys coming up towards the front of the field, and if I'm not mistaken, that might have been Andrew Navarro. We'll take a look back there, and indeed it is, and they are rolling in a hurry. The Dale Cup boys, with the help of Andrew Navarro and the 9, I believe, of Casey Soul. Oh, well, not for long. That's not Casey Soul, excuse me. That's Josh Robinson, and Navarro said, sorry, not sorry. I'm going to the front, and he is making his way forward in a hurry, is the 42. He knows what's on the line. He is already up to 25th after starting just outside the top 30. So a quick gain for Navarro. He's trying to bring the Dale Cup guys along. They got held up a little bit, so he's going to have to wait up front, though. NBG on the bottom with the help of Kenny McCullough. Up top, Eberhardt, Ellis, Sheets, and Jason Maines back into 3. Everybody in 2x2 formation.
Track temp starting to climb. You're sitting at 97, 98 cloud cover right now. Once those clouds go away, look for it to jump into the hundreds. That's really going to kill his bottom lane, especially with this wind. So look for the top side to be dominant. And who needs that? It's Andrew Navarro. He's got to get to the front quick to try and get some laps led. And he gets anywhere past, I think, lap 10. It's going to be tough for him to claim that.
Yeah, he needs to get up front now in a hurry. He's got some more helpers now in the form of Bradley Stefane, as well as Devin Ray was up there with him as well. Steve actually bailed on him, I think. I saw the 27 dive back in line, so some games being played. Wow, huge pushes up front and a caution. A little further back in our field, it's Dylan Blackwell, I believe, that is going to be the cause of this one on lap number 3. We'll get a quick look at it. You're looking at Dylan Blackwell. So we trying to get a look at what happened here. Oh boy, some contact from Zach Lima. I'm not sure if Lima thought maybe he was going to be able to side draft, and a side draft gone wrong. Danny Barnes is going to get in this as well. Oh boy, DJ Thomas is in it as Blackwell slides back down the racetrack. Josh Penland is in it as well. Josh Robinson almost made it through. Sibbett is in it as well in the 13. A tough break as Lima, I think, was trying to side draft or got off center somehow and sent Blackwell for a ride in front of several of our LCQ drivers.
Yeah, it just looked like Lima going for the side draft like you're talking about, and you got that right rear netcode, man. You get anywhere near that right rear, I don't even call it netcode at this point. I just think it's the hitbox of where the truck is drawn, and iRacing thinks that you're on the quarter panel already. Very unfortunate, because Lima can put it as close as he can to trucks and keep it safe. I think he would have been fine, but that netcode just took over.
It's been a real problem in the last couple of weeks between here in the trucks, between the Xfinity cars on several occasions, on races you've seen here on the Ghost Racing Network, including our 2 NSRA races on Sunday nights. We've had a serious problem with it. So it strikes again. It strikes Zach Lima. It's going to draw the field down pit road for the first time on lap number 4. It's going to drag everybody down to their pit boxes except for Ron Morris, John Ward, Chris Blanchard playing some strategy early on. So Ron Morris will cycle forward to the race lead for the time being as the drivers hit their pit boxes for the first time this evening. Quick stop by Ellis, quick stop by Eberhardt. Battle off pit road, going to go to John Ellis. Quick stop by David Sheets. He gains a couple of spots as well. First cycle is done. Definitely not done with pit stops tonight, though. You'll see some green flag pit stops if we can get into a green flag run. We'll have to see 5 laps in. Ron Morris cycles forward to the race lead, playing some strategy games with Chris Blanchard and John Ward, who made it out of the LCQ. No longer eligible for the $500 bonus, but obviously still no stranger to running up front. He's going to do just that. He uses the pit strategy to cycle back forward. And they're going to have to find a way around these guys up front behind Ron Morris. Going to go back to green on lap number 7 of 40. So long ways to go in this one. Like I said, we will have a green flag pit stop, and that's where you're going to see some of those team strategies come into play. You'll see big teams drag some guys down pit road. And so we'll have to see if we get into a green flag run. If we get to that point, looking at some guys that have made their way through the field. John Ward up 30 positions. Chris Blanchard up 25. Ron Morris up 19. Andrew Navarro is up inside the top 20. So, oh boy, lap 10 is looking doubtful at this point. He's got to make it happen here on this restart if he wants any hope of leading the most laps tonight and being eligible for that bonus that we talked about from the top. Chris McCullough up 11 spots as well. He's up to 25th position. David McGuire is inside our top 30. Same with Jacob Emery. So this field gets ready to re-rack here to go back green flag racing on lap number 7. Let's see what the next run of this race brings to us. Intense start to the race, certainly. Not as intense as it can get and not as intense as it will get later on in tonight's events. We get closer and closer to those payouts being given. Ron Morris selects the bottom for the upcoming restart. Lights are out atop the pace car, so the field will re-rack. And we'll get to see who lines up where. Ellis and Jason Maines, teammates in the middle line here, although separated by the MBG entry of Cody Nagels. David Sheets a little further back in the 0-6. Saw him have an excellent pit stop to stay up front. Matt Lee and Jeff Merck are still inside the top 10, so Cody's got some teammates not too far back here. Austin Green running 12th in the 87. Good to see him having a good run early on. Kenny McCullough is back here. Mike Davenport, I believe that's another new look on the 55. Yep, a Thursday night heat series look for Mike Davenport tonight. And that is a very loud paint scheme. It's a great looking truck, slick look for Mike Davenport to advertise our heat series racing tonight. That's where you'll find Gabe Butler is a little further back here. Ryan Baste is back here as well as Dustin Carruthers. So Ron Morris will have control of the field here on lap number 7 of 40. 34 laps remaining in our feature event. Still a lot of racing to go.
Yeah, interesting strategy call by Morris and Ward and Blanchard, but Blanchard does this a lot. He goes off cycle what these people do, and if it turns into a caution fest, it's great. It's a great way to gain track position.
Well, that's exactly what they've done, and now they can control the pace of the race a little bit, at least to a degree. We'll see, obviously, what those guys behind them want to do. Some hungry drivers that are just outside the top 4 want to make their way to the front. None more so than Andrew Navarro, who you'll see come into frame here on the right side of your screen. Green flag is back in the air. 34 laps to go from Talladega. Ron Morris does not get a good start. He does not go in the slightest in front of John Ward, who kind of pushed through him. That's going to clear Blanchard. That's going to clear John Ellis. Blanchard goes down. Ellis stays up. John Ellis going to have a massive run with Cody Nagels and Jason Maines hooked up to his outside here. Bottom line trying to get going behind Chris Blanchard, but some separation down there. Ellis clear to the race lead. Nagels may get clear to the bottom. We'll see if he takes it or stays in line with the Maines boys. Nope, Ellis is going to force his hand and drop down in front of Chris Blanchard. That leaves the top line to Cody Nagels. 3 wide, further back. Bradley Stefane, Devin Ray, Kenny McCullough, Ryan Bates coming towards the front. A little bit further back, the first to test that 3 wide move. Eberhardt goes to the middle, takes that gap. And there goes Navarro. There goes Austin Green out to the wall to lead the third line into the tri-oval.
The Green Ghost going up top. You see Merck taking it upstairs. The Pied Piper's starting to sing. The Fat Lady's tuning up the band. He loves get out there, get up 3 wide, and get it wound up.
That's exactly what he's going to try to do. Hoping the track temp stays down as cloud covers back across the racetrack. Oh, a shake from Blanchard on the bottom line. It's going to kill the run a little bit for Ellis. That's going to give the lead over to Cody Nagels in the 6th briefly here. I imagine Cody will stay middle. Jason Maines leaves him no choice. Cody goes to block. No, sir. Jason slams the door. So Nagels now stuck in the middle with Mullahan. That's going to give the lead over briefly to Jason Maines. It might give the lead to Jeff Merck by the time we get it to the exit of 4. He drops in front of his teammate and leaves Austin up top with Stefane and Ray. Battle for the lead up front, Jason Maines and Jeff Merck. Navarro has reached the back end of this front draft, but he's still a little far back. He's got to make something happen here. Lap 9 going to go on the board. Austin Green trying to get that top lane wound up once again. Leader at the line, Jason Maines. As Sibbitt's about to go a lap down, he's got a pack of roaring trucks behind him. They're going to get to him on the backstretch, I do believe. So luckily for him, not going to have to make too much of a struggle to let the leaders go. Briefly 4 wide. Oh boy, that was a close moment between Stefane and the lap truck of Sibbitt. 3 wide up front. Here comes Austin Green with a huge run going into turn number 3.
The Green Ghost flying on the outside line. He's clear just for a moment. He almost gets turned by Bradley. Big checkup on the outside line. Everyone saves it. Great job.
Great job indeed. Some hesitation, I think, by our own Austin Green. I think he wanted to take it, maybe thought better of it, so instead decides to stay up. He loses track position, but does save a wreck there. It was awfully close if he was going to be able to get that. As a result, new leader, Jeff Merck to the lead. His teammate's going to control the middle line with the help of John Mullahan. Green trying to get that top line going once more. A blink there near the front from Casey Soul. Another blink from that target machine, so the middle line going to suffer just for the moment. But now here they roll again. Oh boy, another blink from the 57. So the middle line struggling a little bit here down the back straightaway. Top line starting to fade, and that's exactly what Nagels and Merck want to see. Is they want to control this field for as long as possible. Mike Davenport, John Ward, several others up against the wall now trying to make their way forward. Don't look now. Navarro, 5 rows back. He's in the middle of this lead draft trying to make it happen. Up front, though, all NBG.
Good look at those new paint schemes from Cody and Jeff Merck there in the NBG trucks. This is a precursor to what I think is going to happen on Tuesday night. Oh, huge stack up. Everyone saves it. 1 car gets turned, 2 cars, 3 cars. We're going to get caution.
Yep, and that was Daniel Eberhardt was the first one I saw get out of shape. Several others out of shape as well as Eberhardt trying to get it righted. Clinton Moda is in this as well. Oh, boy, more trouble in the entrance to turn number 1. That's an OSM truck of Sean Corbett. So some other trucks in trouble. Zach Lima in trouble in the 4. So something else happened here. With Zach Lima a little further up after we saw our first incident, which was caused, I believe, when Daniel Eberhardt got off of the racetrack just there. So I'm going to try to find it here, get a good look at it for us. This may have been a little bit further back. Yeah, they're already stacked up there around Daniel Eberhardt, so we'll get a look from what happened here from the 90 machine. There's that stack up as a result of Devin Ray, I think is... Oh. Whoa. I don't know what... Something catastrophic happened on the 22 truck there. I'm not sure. He just snapped to the left in the middle of the straightaway. Not sure. Some kind of issue on the 22. Unfortunately, it causes the whole field to scramble. Daniel Eberhardt goes off the bumper of Moda. They spin to the inside. That's Blackwell again in the 19. And then it's going to be Matt Lee that I think is going to, come back up. Collects a couple more of these trucks. Corbett, Lima, Barnes again. Several trucks involved. Oh, boy. A massive incident. One truck up on its side. That's the 24 of Basson. And then a little further back, they're still wrecking. Kenny McCullough spins through the grass as Lima slides right back across the racetrack in front of these guys. This was about 4 separate incidents that all happened because of the stack up, because something happened on the 22 machine of Devin Ray. So as we wait to get Baker's take on that one, another big incident early on. Baker, what'd you see there? That was about 4 different things at once.
Yeah, it just looks like a stack up that happens. And then, Daniel's trying to avoid. He gets turned, and when he gets turned, Lee gets a little squirrely. He gets turned up into the field. It just, that just looked like it was a big racing deal in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bradley Stefane has stayed out on the racetrack here under our second caution, so doing the same thing that we saw Morris and Ward and Ryan Bass do. Or, excuse me, not Ryan Bass, Chris Blanchard under our first caution. Bradley decides he's going to stay on the racetrack, take the track position, take the race lead, and go to the point. So we'll see what he can do right here. Actually, lap 13, yeah. Let's see if we can find Bradley. I thought I saw him. Let's see if we can't get a word with Bradley Stefane. Hey, Bradley, it's Baker and Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
10-4.
All right, man. Well, you stay out under this caution. Kind of take us through the first portion of your race and this strategy call here under the second caution.
Well, in the beginning, I was just planning on just going to the back and kind of riding it out because I just want to stay out of some of the wrecks. But being in the kind of the middle, I'm like, well, I'm just going to go. Maybe we can get to the front and just try to stay up there. And Navarro's kind of with me. He always goes up to the front, so I'm like, well, I'm going to try to stick with him. And some cautions came out, and but we got to pit again, and we don't have enough fuel. And I'm like, I'm just going to stay out here. There's going to be more wrecks. See if we can just try to make up some track position, basically,
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what you've done. You've gone to the race lead, so you did talk about how you got to pit again, but before then, you got some hungry drivers behind you, some of the bigger hitters here in PGR Thursday Night Heat. So kind of how are you going to handle this restart, knowing you got some hungry hitters, some big pushers behind you here on this one?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to start on the outside here. I know that's kind of the preferred line, and we still got a long way to go. It's going to be a crapshoot. I mean, anything could happen. I could be wrecked out next lap, so we'll just cross our fingers.
All right, well, good to see you running up front. Good luck to you the rest of the way. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
So good to hear from Bradley Stefane right there about the strategy. You heard him talk about the strategy move there as we get him moved back in. We had to make sure we got him moved back into the right channel. He does get moved now. So you heard him talk about the fact they got to pit again. Oh, he said a caution came out and I just decided to stay out, and it could pay huge dividends. The track position is king. We've seen it so many times at Talladega, and especially here in PGR. If you can get to the front, if you know any ounce of how to stay there, it can be massive to make this call to stay on the racetrack and take the track position and just, hope some of these guys behind you are going to work with you. Lights are out atop our pace car. We'll go green about 5 laps short of halfway. Lap 15 will go on the board when Bradley Stefane takes the green flag here shortly. Jason Maines will be second to his inside. NBG teammates on row 2, Nagels and Merck. Behind them, John Mullahan and Josh Penland coming out of our LCQ race. He's up inside the top 6. Good to see him running near the front of this field. Here with a little ways to go, but still, track position, like I said, is king. Casey Soul, John Ellis, Gabe Butler, Austin Green a little further back. Then you get to a couple of the OSM trucks. That's Heath Job and Ryan Based. Mike Davenport, David Sheets also still up in the running order, but a long ways to go. Pace cars down. Bradley Stefane will have control of the field with Cody Nagels pushing him into the restart zone. Field tightens up. Lap 15 onto the board. And we are racing once again. Green flag is back in the air. Bradley gets a huge restart. What a jump by that 89 machine. He's going to get clear of Maines, and oh, he might want to take it right here. I think he's going to get hung out. It's too late. Stefane got too good a jump for the outside line behind him. He's got to hope the help comes to him. Here comes Nagels to his aid. But unfortunately for them, on the inside, big run. Jason Maines, trouble. Around goes the 57 of Casey Soul and Gabe Butler, and several trucks are involved in this one. And Casey Soul was the first truck I saw get out of shape. A little more trouble further up. And I think the top line may have stacked up right here as they got to Bradley Stefane on the entrance to 1. We'll double check, but certainly would not be surprising if that's exactly what happened. You're going to get a pretty decent look at it here. Soul running 4th in line. Line starts to stack. Line starts to stack. Here comes Butler. Obviously not going to be able to lift. Hits him in the right rear. And the 57, unfortunately, not prepared for that push. Gets turned sideways. Bounces off the outside wall. Butler does get a piece of this, and actually is going to hook the 57 back down the racetrack. Heath Job is involved. Chris McCullough is involved. Ron Morris is involved. DJ Thomas sliding into it. He's going to get into the 9 of Josh Robinson, but I think they're going to be good otherwise. Chris McCullough then bounces off the outside wall. Wow, a whale of a hit for the 0-4. Dylan Jones scrambling to try to avoid him. Steve Karosik scrambling a little bit further towards the back. You see Danny Barnes lock up the brakes. So that line that stacked up behind Bradley Stefane unfortunately has bad consequences for some guys a little bit further back as they got to him. Obviously nothing Gabe Butler can do. He hits the 57 and it was on from there. So a quick break here with 25 laps to go. We're getting closer to that window where pit stops no longer matter. You can turn that page off. You can turn that part of your brain off and just go look ahead of you and try to go get the win. Still just outside that window, though, so still have to respect that. John Ellis actually is going to make a pit stop. Limited guys on pit road. Chris Blanchard, Mike Davenport, David Sheets, Doucette, Carruthers, Butler, Morris. So some guys that were involved in the wreck. And some guys that were running further back. Steve Karosik, Christian Sanford, Noah Turpak, Zach Lima, David Werner, Dylan Basson all into the pit lane. So a mix of strategies. But about the front 20 stay out on the racetrack. And that includes Andrew Navarro. Granted, I think it's a little bit too far for him to lead the most laps. It'll be awfully tough. He'd have to get to the lead basically off the jump here. He's going to be 10th, I believe, on the restart. So a tough ask for Navarro. Still not impossible, but a tough ask. As Danny Barnes flies around the pace car, getting a lap back. And so with 24 to go, we will reset once again. Taking a look in YouTube chat just briefly while we have a second to catch our breath. Mark Vondell, $20 super chat. Appreciate that. Big time. Appreciate you coming out, Vondell. Would have loved to see you in the feature race tonight. Under our third caution of the evening, just short of halfway in our 40-lap main event. Field kind of on its head again. Obviously, the OSM guys coming towards the front. John Mullahan has made a pretty good night for himself so far. He's up to 3rd. Kenneth Stamper quietly is just outside the top 10 all of a sudden. William Fox is just outside the top 10. It's been a quiet night for Matt Lee, who finds himself 16th. Kind of weird to see him running back this far. You'd expect him to be up front with his teammates, Merck and Nagels. He's kind of been mired in traffic a little bit. So look for him to start making moves, start getting dicey, getting a little bit more aggressive, trying to make his way towards the front of this field. Also sporting that new NBG-style paint scheme. A new look for the 04 as well. A very nice look with that dark green on the dark gray base. What a great look for those guys all together. Back up front, we're going to rack them up once again. Rack and stack. Maybe 22 to go when we take the green flag. Jason Maines, back to a place we've seen him a lot the last few weeks. Up front and leading the field. No surprise, really, to see Jason back in form. He does not have help up here that I know of. So, obviously his teammate John Ellis was up here with him, but decided to come to pit road under that last yellow. So we'll see how it shakes out for Mr. Maines here on this restart. Looking a little further back once again. Bradley Stefane was able to maintain 4th. We'll see if he goes on this restart. I'm not sure. He got too good a restart on our last caution. He got too far out in front of the line. That's obviously when we saw the stack up about 5 rows deep. Jeff Merck, for now, will be the outside of row number 1 as he and Jason were able to get clear on our last restart. Cody Nagels mired in 5th after restarting on the outside of row number 2, so now he is buried on the bottom, at least for the time being. And we are going to have to see how it shakes out. 2 laps short of our halfway point. Big payouts on the line in 22 laps from right now. Every single one of these guys see those payouts. They want in. I know I do every week that I'm on track. So certainly the pace is going to continue to ramp up as we get closer and closer to that checkered flag. Here we go. Pace car will make the hard left off of the racing surface. The field will be in the hands of the one of Jason Maines. Oh, trouble. Problems for the green ghost of Austin Green. Something going on with the Austin Green machine. I'm not sure what happened. He just hung a right, got in the outside wall. Some problems a little further back as well. But back up front, we're going to have to drop the green flag. Well, maybe we're not. We're into the restart zone. And the yellow flag is going to come back out. So we will rack them one more time here. Pace car will pick up the field on the entrance to turn number 1. I'm not sure what the issue is with the 87 machine, but he hung a right. Looks like he's okay now. Yep, he's back up to speed, so just a brief issue for the 87. But it will delay our green flag for the moment. And the leaders are on the apron saving gas all of a sudden as the field waits for our pace car to pick up this full field. Actually, I think these guys are going to come to a stop here, at least a crawl. So a little delay. We'll have at least one extra lap of caution. We'll see. It's going to be tight to see if we can get it racked back up once again here. Pace car picks up the field. Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to get this one racked back up in time. We'll see. As Jason Maines gets back under power here to catch the pace car. Lights are out, so we are going to go green as of right this second. We'll see if the field can get stacked up in time. And now we'll go green. For real this time. One last look at Austin Green. And yep, looks like he's got the issue fixed. That was very odd, as he just kind of dove out of line coming to the green flag. But does appear to have it righted now. So, take another quick breath. You might not get another one. As we get ready to go back green with 21 laps to go. here at Talladega. Now the pace car is off for sure. Jason Maines hoping he sees the green flag and not the yellow lights this time, as he begins the long creep into the restart zone. It's a very, very long, slow roll into that restart zone that's down past the center of the tri-oval. About 1,000 feet further down from the start-finish line at Daytona. This time we're going to get the green flag. 21 laps to go. We are back racing at Talladega. Great start for Jason Maines. We'll see if he gets up in front of Merck. Field 2x2 kind of separated, about 12th on back. Maines clear for the lead into turn number 2.
Yeah, it looked like Austin just had an ignition problem come to that initial start. Got it all sorted out. People tried to take advantage of pitting there. They got EOLs to the back, trying to get some more fuel in. Not going to give him a one-lap penalty, but it's a big no-no.
3 wide, a little further back as briefly Jeff Merck poked the nose out front. There's Matt Lee, and that's what I expected him to be doing. He's got help from John Ward in the 92. They got to get going, though, around William Fox. Ooh, close moment there. Eberhardt, well, he wanted to go all the way up. Ward bailed, and now they're all going to have to bail back to the middle, but no surprise, Matt Lee being aggressive late in this race. He knows it's time to go. Karosik, same thing. All of a sudden, some heavy hitters lined up. Expect to see some 3 wide, but back up front, Jeff Merck. And right as I pan away, of course, they go 3 wide. Daniel Eberhardt, the first to move. Navarro is there. He's 4 rows back. Does he take it? Ooh, Merck slides a little wide in turns 1 and 2. That was an awkward moment for the 60. Maybe had some help from Bradley Stefane. Here comes Andrew Navarro. He jumps out. He takes the gap. And now Bradley takes the gap. 3 wide for the race lead. In 3, the middle line starts to die. Oh, boy, trouble on the 89, and that's going to stall the top. Maines to the middle, Merck to the wall. Everybody dicing for position off turn number 4.
Side by side, 3 by 3, 5 rows deep, make it 6 rows deep. Navarro's trying to get out there while we get to the halfway point here, just past halfway, to try and get up there, get those laps led. I think he's got about 5 more laps before it really becomes a dwindling. I don't think it's really going to happen if he doesn't get here in the next 6 laps.
Jason Maines takes the run, goes to the bottom in front of Mullahan. That's going to allow Merck to drop in front of Ryan Baste for OSM. The push to the top line. Navarro shoving Bradley Stefane all the way back to the race lead. Headed back to turn number 3. They are lined up. Navarro makes the move first. What a move by Andrew Navarro, but the caution flag is out a little further back, right as Navarro had an opening for the race lead. Try to get a look at this one. It's showing Kenneth Stamper is the cause for this yellow flag. We'll try to get a quick look at it for you here. Oh boy, yeah. It's already started back here around Matt Lee, who we just talked about. Whoa. Oh boy, a blink. In fact, a very substantial one for Kenneth Stamper. So we'll have to go look at Matt Lee on this. You're going to see him disappear. Still out. Still out. As these guys come off of turn number 2, you're going to see him reappear right there. And, oh, man, tough break is Matt Lee. There's nothing you can do if you're Matt Lee right there. Obviously didn't mean to drive through the 30. That's just kind of one of those things where Stamper comes back and the field is still rolling at full pace. They're not going to stop. Luckily, no damage, it appears, on those trucks. Oh, some damage further back as well. Maybe not. As Kenny McCullough. Oh, there is. Oh. Well, okay. Now I've seen it all as. Oh, actually, Kenny. Oh, no. Kenny gets turned a little further up right in front of these guys. And Zach Lima is caught up in it. John Ellis just misses it. But a little further back, we spin several trucks. Noah Terpak is involved in this. Ron Morris is involved in this. So this was actually a pretty substantial incident after the initial spin by Kenneth Stamper that I think brought out the yellow flag. And so no damage for a lot of those trucks that kind of drove through the 30 there as he reappeared on the racetrack. But some damage to Terpak and several other trucks. Boy, I don't even know where to start. on that one, I don't think, is certainly some connection issues for Kenneth Stamper. Kind of saved what would have been a very, very large incident near the front of the field. Instead, it ends up in a minor spin to the inside that damages a few of the trucks running towards the back, including Zach Lima and Kenny McCullough, who both are involved in that one. So now inside halfway, I do believe Jason Maines decided to stay on the racetrack. I did not see him come to pit road. So I think he is going to play the gamble here with 17 laps to go. He does have a teammate up front with him now as John Ellis cycles forward. Andrew Navarro will be third after, for a second, it looked like he was going to get the race lead. Instead, he'll be relegated to third, and that's about as brutal can get, as we were getting close to the number for Navarro for it to pretty much be impossible for him to lead the most laps. Although we have had a lot of lead changes tonight, I think his number one challenger for laps led at this point would be Jason Maines if he continues to stay out front. So let's see how it shakes out on this restart. Can't imagine he's going to be very patient with the one truck here on this restart, as he looks to get to the lead and keep it there and hope it is enough. We will try. I'll try to get an idea of what we're looking at for laps led here. But I do think Jason Maines would be at the top of that list if the race were to end right now. So it'll be 15 laps to go and we get him racked back up. It's getting down to it now. Under half of the race remaining. Big payouts on the horizon for these guys at the front of the field, as we get ready to rack them back up once again. Brief look at YouTube chat as Kenny McCullough darts out of pit road in front of the pace car. He's going to stay on the lead lap. Brief look at chat while we wait. George Gibbs, Navarro's on a mission. Yeah, you got that right. Andrew Navarro has been the most determined driver in this entire field to this point. And for a second, his window opened, and he got a look at the lead, and it's not a dagger moment for him yet, certainly, with him still running third. But we'll have to see. Boy, that's a disappointing moment for Andrew Navarro, as it's going to be hard-pressed, I think, from here on, especially now with the caution laps. With him not being the race leader, it's dwindling for him.
Yeah, I think he's got to lead every lap at this point now, unless we have some green light checkers, and that's added to the list of laps being led if he can get out front and stay out front. But like you said, I think it's dwindling with every lap here.
Certainly would not be the most unlikely thing we've seen Andrew Navarro do if he were to get out front and stay out front. If he were to get a good enough restart right here, we'll see what he's willing to do to go get it. Obviously not going to leave much on the table when it comes to getting to the lead, and then obviously having to stay there, play the blocks at the right time, play the moves at the right time, make sure you're leading at the line every single time we come around. It's so hard to lead consecutive laps in this style of race where we've seen so many lead changes. So for Navarro, it's going to be, he has to get out front, and then I think he just has to hope that he can just stay out front, maybe get the benefit of some cautions as he looks to claim that $250 bonus. Everyone else around him, though, they don't care about that $250 bonus. They are coming for those payouts at the end of the night. The first guy looking for one, Jason Maines in the one, as he comes down into the tri-oval and looks for that green flag once again. 15 laps to go from Talladega. We are getting down to it. Green flag back on the air. Everybody back on the loud pedal. Headed back towards turn one, pretty even. The bottom does not have the support the top does, though. And that's going to allow John Ellis, with help of John Mullihan. Well, maybe not. Big push from Navarro. Maines is clear. Now here's the question. Do you go up and block and leave Navarro at the bottom? I don't think you do. I think you stay put. But does Navarro get clear to the top? He's going to get turned. Jason Maines around in front of the field. Spinning, flying apart goes the entire field. This is a massive incident. John Ward is in it. Guys trying to escape. Oh, Sibbett gets in it there at the end. Moda is in it. Heath Job is in it. Navarro gets away with the race lead somehow. Oh, boy. Well, we've got a lot to solve now. And I cannot imagine that it's going to be a very happy Jason Maines here. You saw it happen as we were on our live shot here. A bad push, I think, from Andrew Navarro. As Maines comes off of turn number 2 and onto the back straightaway. Yep, he gets off center just slightly. You see it there. Maines starts to go around. And a scramble. Eberhardt scrambles. Mullahan scrambles. Everybody just looks to get out of it. Oh, man. Ryan Bass, Matt Lee, John Ward, nowhere to go as they are involved. And this is a pretty good angle as the field scatters across the racetrack. DJ Thomas. Oh, it's better to say who's not in it. Bradley Stefane gets a piece of it. As guys scramble to try to miss the incident. Gabe Butler scrambling out of it. Danny Barnes is involved, I believe. Again, yep, he's going to get hit right there further back. Oh, boy. A lot to unpack out of that one as somehow Navarro comes out of that with the race lead.
He's going to get an EOL there, cause a caution.
Oh, boy. So, not meant to be for Andrew Navarro. So we will cycle the field back around, and it will actually cycle the lead over to Daniel Eberhardt as Navarro is sent backwards here. So, again, the window opens, and again, it is slammed shut for Andrew Navarro. I don't think that was malicious, but certainly I'm sure he was getting pushed through, but regardless, an off-center push by the 42 of Navarro, and his hope for our $250 bonus comes to an end with 13 laps to go. Virtually comes to an end anyway with 13 laps to go. And so now we refocus once again inside of 15 to go. And it will hand the lead over, like I said, to Daniel Eberhardt in the 90, who kind of just scrambled his way out of this. Same with Jeff Merck. Same with Ellis, Nagels, Mullahan. They all kind of just were lucky enough to pick the right line and fly through it and just lay the throttle down and hope you get past it. Looks like Steve Karosik benefited from this as well. All of a sudden, he is position number 8. So, Steve not out of this either. First time we've seen him up at the front of the field, close to the front of the field tonight. So he came out of our LCQ race. So he'll have a shot at this inside of 13 laps to go. It's going to be about 11 to go when we go green. And this race is tracking to go past our scheduled distance. We will obviously certainly have to see, but the way these guys are racing, I don't know if we'll end up getting this one done inside of our scheduled distance at the rate we are going, and that's going to make it very interesting for these race leaders if it does go to overtime attempts as to the fuel that's in the tanks of some of these trucks up front that hit pit road outside of the normal window. And so they were pretty much right on the number when they came to pit road, but that's the number to go in the regulation distance. You're going to be able to save here under caution, but you can only save so much in these trucks, as we found out time after time. And now it becomes, how many cautions do we get? Do we get enough for these guys to save enough to make it to the end? If we go to 1, 2, 3 overtime attempts, do these guys still have enough to make it? We're going to find out as Eberhardt selects the top lane. A wise decision, considering he is split up the NBG teammates that will line up 2 and 3 on this restart. Jeff Merck will roll from the inside of row number 1 in second. So third will be John Ellis. And fourth will be Cody Nagels now. Back to fifth, John Mullahan. Dylan Jones is up here. Dustin Carruthers makes his first appearance. Steve Karosik, obviously, as we just mentioned, is position number 8. Josh Robinson and Josh Penland are still very much in this race in 9th and 10th, and great runs for those guys. Dylan Basson making a comeback. Jacob Emery making a comeback. Same with Austin Green, Mike Davenport. some interesting storylines going into this restart. There's some guys up here. This would be a huge win for them if they can pull this one off.
Yeah, and I'm looking no further than my fellow teammate, one of my good friends, Jeff Merck. He has had some terrible luck in PGR races, and it's good to see him up front, running with his teammates, running around people he knows and he can trust up here up front. And Ellis is one of the cleanest drivers. Jones, another clean driver. I think your front five, very respectable. That front six with Mollahan. So look for them to try and keep it together, keep their P's and Q's, trying to get to this white flag so they can race it out amongst each other.
Yeah, and you're right on Jeff Merck. Obviously, what a huge moment this would be for him, as we've seen him in the midst of a massive dry spell the last several weeks. It spans back pretty much a month at this point. So Jeff Merck, he's looking for a good run. He's got a great chance at it right here. He's going to get a great look at the lead in 1 and 2. He's been great all night. He's got 11 laps to get it done. First, he's got to pass our race leader, though, and that's who's going to have our restart. The 90 of Daniel Eberhardt brings the field towards the restart zone. Still creeping, waiting on that green flag. There it is. Eberhardt is down and away. We are back under green here at Talladega with 11 laps to go. Nagel's about a half truck length off Eberhardt. It's going to take him a second to get to him. Expect that bottom line to roll big time here. In the middle of 1 and 2 it does, and up goes Jeff Merck to the race lead in 1 and 2.
Jeff Merck going to control that outside line. Danny Eberhardt giving him a great shove. Look for Jones and Korosek to maybe step out 3 wide. That would be the first move I would look for if it's not further back in the pack. You see Merck going to clear back down to the bottom. Eberhardt going to try and get himself clear back to the bottom, but Merck going to control this middle line as he drops down to the bottom into 3.
Jeff Merck racing with some fire underneath that 60 machine tonight. What a great run it's been for him, and he's looking to finish it. Boy, he's looking polished as ever. He goes back to the middle. A seasoned move takes that bump from Eberhardt. It's going to allow Ellis to briefly poke his nose into the race lead, but not for long. Mike Davenport looks 3 wide. No help to be found for him. Now the help starts to come to him in the form of Dylan Basson. So a little further back, the help starts to materialize on the outside line as up front 2x2, 4 rows deep. Make it 5 rows deep now with Steve Korosek clearing William Fox through the middle. He's into the mix now. He goes to the bottom underneath Steve Korosek. Davenport's got some more help now in the form of David Sheets, David Warner. The OSM boys starting to come to the front a little further back as well. I see them grouping up. Ray, Job, Corbett are getting together. That's all the leaders want to see up front is 2x2. I'm not surprised. These guys definitely want to keep it going just like this. Sean Ellis pokes his nose back out front.
Merck keeps getting pushed up about half a lane. I'm getting real nervous to see if he's going to get turned down to the inside. Eberhardt's doing a great job giving a push. Going to try and clear to the bottom here. If he can, it's going to
trouble a little further back. Davenport, Fox, the OSM trucks, more trouble. Jacob Emery is in it, and some trucks a little further back are spinning, sliding through the tri-oval, and it started with William Fox in the 761 as another pretty monumental or pretty large incident here late in this race. I'm going to try to get a good look at it here. It starts back here around Mike Davenport. So we'll get a decent look at it here in the middle of the tri-oval. Oh, boy. Oh, David Warner comes up, catches David Sheets. They're going to catch the 761, unsuspecting bystander. And they slide right up into the path of Mike Davenport, Devin Ray. I think that's Heath Job. I can't really tell which of the OSM trucks that is. Jacob Emery is in this as well. It's all 3 OSM trucks, boy. After we talked so much about them, what a tough break. David Sheets slide through the grass. Another slide a little bit further as Chris McCullough goes for a slide. Ryan Baste, Ron Morris. As guys scramble to miss the wreck. There you see Heath Job sliding his way across the racetrack. Oh, some guys in the grass a little further back. That's Sean Corbett. So he looks okay to me. Not too bad on that 45 truck. There's Andrew Navarro making his way through. Same with Kenny McCullough. And so another caution late in this race. And so now you begin to think, well, maybe the leaders have saved enough. And we'll see how they re-rack on this restart. Our leader will definitely be Jeff Merck. I think Eberhardt is second. They had just all three gotten clear when that wreck started to take place in the middle of the tri-oval. It was going to be interesting to see if Eberhardt stayed in line or maybe took what he thought was an instinctive move, went to the bottom, tried to get the race lead back. Now he's going to have to re-rack and go at it again, this time not as the control truck. So you're going to rack him once again. Our sixth caution of the night as we pace here on lap number 33 of 40. Inching closer to those overtime attempts that we know are there. We've used all three a couple of times already, so we will go ahead. I'll go ahead and run down these rules for these green white checkers really quickly before we get back to green with what's going to be 6 laps to go. So the first and second green white checkered is going to be normal. If a caution happens anywhere on the racetrack, a wreck worthy of a caution, it will be thrown, and we'll re-rack for what the second or third attempt at a green white checkered. On that third attempt, though, if you're new to PGR Thursday Night Heat, it will be a little bit different. If the wreck is at the back of the field and outside the money positions, we're going to be allowed to run it out. If the wreck is inside the money positions, we'll get a caution, and the results of the race will go by the moment of caution. So obviously hoping to not reach that point, but we do have to cover it based on how this race has gone because it's becoming more and more of a possibility the longer we go here. So everybody on the apron here as we come towards the pit entry. I don't think anybody's going to take it right here. Obviously, not sure how wise a decision that would be. Looking a little further back. Yeah, as I suspected, no takers. Just everybody on the apron trying to save some gas. And so we'll re-rack here with 6 laps to go. It'll be 6 laps to go when we take the green flag. Jeff Merck outside is going to be the choice for the 60. He'll have John Ellis once again behind him on this restart. So the bottom will be Eberhardt and Nagels. As Dylan Jones has cycled forward just a little. Same with John Mullahan. Steve Karosik now finds himself on the bottom. Dustin Carruthers to his outside. And don't look now. The Green Ghost is still very much in this race, in the running for a cash spot. So we'll have to keep an eye on Austin here on this restart, see how he fares. He's got a clean truck and a good look at it, though. What a moment that would be if Austin can get onto the podium, or heck, if he can even win this thing. So we'll see what he's got in store. John Ward is still in this, as well as Jason Maines, Gabe Butler. Some heavy hitters still very much in this race with just a few laps remaining. Andrew Navarro's not out of this either. He's back inside the top 20 after the incident we saw under the last caution. So he's not out of it either. Really, if you've got a clean truck still, based on the finish we had a couple of weeks ago, if you're anywhere close to the front, you can very easily win this race. We saw Christian Sanford drive through the massive last lap incident and come home with the victory. And obviously we saw some guys that ended up in great cash spots running 18th, 19th, 20th. Jason and Garrett Maines come to mind as they drove through the last caution. So as long as your truck is clean, you're able to keep the pack. You are not out of this by any means. We're going to have to see how it goes. Pace car dives below the yellow line, leaves the field in the hands of the 60. The U.S. Navy machine of Jeff Merck, looking to finish off what has been an incredible run for he and his team tonight. And he will have control of this restart with 6 laps to go. Into the restart zone they come. We're getting down to crunch time. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega. The outside line does not go stack up further back around Navarro. We're going to keep it going, though. But that's going to allow the bottom line to clear. Daniel Eberhardt clear up if he wants it. He's going to take it. That's going to leave the bottom to Cody Nagels and Dylan Jones. As Cody pokes his nose out front, Off of 2, still 2 by 2. I believe Eberhardt's going to get the lead back here off of turn number 2. 3 wide. The Green Ghost is the first to move. Austin Green with the help of John Ward, Jason Maines. Now Mullahan dives out of line. 4 trucks up by the top line of the racetrack, looking to get it wound up with 6 laps to go at Talladega. Mullahan pushed all the way to the front row by Austin Green. 3 wide for the lead in 3 and 4.
As you see, Cody Nagels thought he was going to have a little bit of run to clear back up. Sanford's going to tuck in line in the middle, about 6 cars back. Eberhardt's going to lead here. Mullahan getting a great push from Austin. Austin is definitely one of the best pushers out here, and he's really making a show right now. Oh, Daniel gets a little bit loose. Merck gets him a little offset. They stack up behind 2, 3 cars down to the inside.
Yeah,
No caution.
Dustin Carruthers was the truck I saw get out of line. He bounces off the inside wall. We keep it green. Back up front. Leader for now is Dylan Jones. Cody Nagels found a gap. He gets up in front of Eberhardt. Big push from the 90. The 6 is all kinds of out of shape. He's still out of shape as we roll down the back straightaway with 5 laps to go. Still green. Cody's going to get clear to the bottom. I don't think he takes it here. I think he manages and stays where he's at. No, he does not. He takes it down in front of Dylan Jones. So now it leaves Eberhardt to go to the middle. He's going to even up with Cody and go for the race lead. Topside, it's Mullahan, Green, Ward, and Stefane. Still 3 by 3 as the front about 12 start to break away. 4 laps to go at the line.
Great run from the middle. It looked about 2 cars off to the inside. It looked like 3 cars once we got around turn 2. Didn't throw a caution. Didn't see the need for it. Everyone got it straightened back up. As you see Ellis jump to the top, Merck is going to get left way out. Eberhardt jumps to the bottom. He comes back up to the middle, knows the middle doesn't have any support. Merck up to the high lane. Oh, man, this is some great racing. Ellis gives a great push to Merck. Oh, a little bit offset, gets a little squirrely. He's still going to get a good run, though. The middle line trying to gather back up. Oh, great move by Merck over under.
I mean, unbelievable racing up front right now as Cody Nagels pokes his nose back out front for the time being. But what a seasoned move by Jeff Merck that was on the end of the back straightaway as he got enough of a push to get clear and jumped right back down. The third lane fades about a truck length as Ellis, Mullahan, Green, and Ward try to get it wound back up. Up front, it is all Jeff Merck. 3 laps to go from Talladega. The 60 is clear. Karosik, a big moment a little further back. They scramble again as Merck goes to the bottom now. He waits on his help, Nagels. That's going to allow Eberhardt and Ellis, I think, to both clear right here unless Nagels gives him a huge shot, and he does. But unfortunately, the bottom, oh, trouble! Eberhardt is into the wall. Now Merck gets turned. Mullahan is into the wall. They spin. The whole field sliding. Merck bounces off the inside wall. Gets hit again by Josh Robinson. Karosik is in it. Jason Maines is in it. John Ellis is in it. It's better to say who's not in it. Daniel Eberhardt is around a little further back. John Mullahan is around. Cody Nagels is involved. Every one of those front trucks now in a cloud of smoke on the back straightaway with 3 laps to go. And, boy, I'm not even sure, honestly, where to start here. There was about 3 different incidents that took place. Eberhardt was the first one that got out of shape. You see the off-center push there by Jason Maines as Eberhardt, I think he's getting drawn up to the outside. I think that's some more of that right rear. It almost draws you in sometimes, and it does there to Eberhardt. He and Ellis get connected. That's going to collect John Mullahan. Then Jason gets turned by Gabe. Oh, man, Merck collects Mullahan. Nagels is involved. They're spinning further back as well. William Fox, Bradley Stefane. Nagels collects Karosik. They collect Navarro, who had just gotten through this. Wow, how did Gabe Butler... We might have to go take a look at Gabe Butler. I have no idea how he got through this incident. And I think we definitely will have to get a look. Austin Green is in this as well. What a tough break that is for the 87. Jason Maines, John Ellis. And, Bradley, is he going to miss Jason Maines? He does. But I think we need to go back here and get a look from Gabe Butler, because this was outstanding. I mean, I can't really say enough about it. Here we go. You're on board with the 88 of Gabe Butler, and let's see how he fares through this. Gets Jason there, gets a push, slides, misses Jason. Oh, here they come down the racetrack, and he hooks a right. Wow. What a ride for Gabe Butler. Another guy I think we need to take a look at here is Dylan Jones. He was to the inside of Eberhardt right here. They start to wreck out, maybe. Oh! We did not get on Dylan Jones. This is from Merck. Ah, the inside wall got him. I think he was fine until he got off the inside wall. And the bad luck continues once again for Jeff Merck. Just when it looked like he was in the prime position, he gets collected yet again. And that's going to flip the field on its head. Dylan Jones now leads, coming to green-white checkered attempt number 1. And the top 10 is completely different. Dylan Jones, Gabe Butler, Andrew Navarro, Kenny McCullough, Dylan Basson, John Ward, David Sheets, Josh Robinson, Mike Davenport, and Sean Corbett are your top 10. Coming up to green-white checkered attempt number 1. Wow. What an incident there on the back straightaway. It takes out all the heavy hitters and all the guys we just saw do all that great racing, and all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, it's all gone for him on the back straightaway. So everybody catch your breath as we're under our 7th caution of the evening. Here coming to green-white checkered attempt number 1. We will have 3 of them. And at the rate we're going, I think we're going to need all 3 of them.
It's been nothing but chaos since the drop of the green flag. Unfortunate. Jason, nothing intentional there. Just gets on his left side, gets him turned down to the inside wall. Very unfortunate. Really good racing up front.
Yeah, it's still a little ways to go here, and a potential for a first-time winner now becomes a reality as some guys a little further back that maybe aren't up here as much, they now see an opportunity all of a sudden. The seas parted for them. They were able to drive through the caution, and now as we run, as we're going to restack here with 2 laps to go, the field will be in the hands of Dylan Jones, and we saw him get to the bottom there. He was going for the race lead. He was close. So he was in the mix, but certainly was going to have to do some work to win. Now he finds himself as the control truck for our first green-white checkered. We'll take a brief look at chat here as we get ready to go for green-white checkered attempt number 1. Michael Triscaro, first-time winner coming tonight. I mean, it could be. I mean, at this rate, now that we've cleaned out the front 15 trucks in the field, all of a sudden it's a very different race with just a few laps to go. Baker's mom chiming in, poor Merck. And I mean, how many times have we said that the last couple of weeks? I have not seen this kind of bad luck stretch for any driver in a very long time, and he's obviously still in it back there. Jeff Merck just outside the top 15, maybe just outside the top 20. So not out of it yet by any means, but certainly the run he was having, that's a tough break for him to get involved there late. George Gibbs, I hope we don't need all 3 green-white checkers. Well, unfortunately, and I hope these guys prove me wrong, I think we're gonna need. I think we might need all 3 of them. Just the chaos of this race. It's been one of those nights where, just like you said, from the drop of the green flag, it's just been chaos on top of chaos on top of chaos. So I hope we don't. I agree with you. But as we get ready to go for green-white checkered attempt number 1, I'm just not sure that's the case.
Yeah, just this pace car is going to pull off. It just you know, it's just the way this race is gone. It's the way you have to race these trucks. You just have to push through everyone to keep the momentum going. And it's just a product of the race, and if your connection isn't good, it just messes up everything.
Yeah, well, the one guy who's hoping it doesn't mess up everything is Dylan Jones at the front of the field. He's got control. Green-white checkered attempt number 1. Who wants it more? Green flag back in the air once again at Talladega. If we make it to the white flag, this race is official. If not, a second attempt awaits. Dylan Jones clear to the top. He decides to stay bottom, trusting the push from Andrew Navarro. Oh, but he's going to have to be careful. Navarro may get clear. 3 wide a little further back. Noah Terpak was the first truck I saw move out of line. As I look back there, oh, it's stalled out big time. Breakaway at the front of the field, about 9 trucks. Third line can't get going. Trouble. a little further back. Josh Robinson, Steve Karosik, Ron Morris, Cody Nagels, and others. The NBG trucks, I think, are in this one again. Nope. Jeff Merck actually gets through this one, but I did see Cody Nagels. Heavy left front damage on the 6. I'll try to go back quickly here. I think the first truck to get out of line was Christian Sanford. Yeah, unfortunately, Terpak was a little bit too high off turn number 2. Sanford got in the back of him. Steve's obviously, he doesn't know. I don't think that Terpak is that high. Runs through Sanford. And it is on from there. Sanford around, Nagels around, Robinson collects Karosik. Guys scramble further back. Bradley Stefane is in this. I believe Austin Green is that truck behind the 43, and it is Austin Green. So yet again, he's involved in another caution. He may be okay, but it does bring out a yellow flag. It will cause us to have to use attempt number 2 at least at a green-white checkered, so we'll re-rack them once again. As the chaos continues. As the third line tried to get formulated, it didn't work out. Noah Terpak, obviously nothing wrong that he did there per se, but the push was a little bit lower on the racetrack than I think Terpak expected it to be. It gets him out of shape, and nobody behind them can stop. They were linked up against the wall, and another unfortunate incident a little further back. So we will re-rack them once again. Green-white checkered attempt number 2 coming up. Here's we get ready to rack them and stack them. As we will get the field back ready to go once again. So 2 laps will be put back on the board. And I'm beginning to wonder if this one's ever going to end. 8th caution of the night on lap 30. What's now, as I'm double checking, I believe we're getting close, or we're definitely past the regulation distance now. So in the chat, I wonder if all the leaders can make the green-white checkered. I don't know. This is what I was talking about earlier when they pit with 17 or 18 laps to go. If we got into an overtime situation, you can certainly save some under caution, but you can't save a ton. So you can't save, multiple. You can save a couple of laps maybe, but it's not something where you can save enough to go 6, 7, 8 extra laps past the window. It's just not possible. So we will see. They're good for now. Obviously, everybody's still under power. So we may be good for this attempt, but if we go to another attempt, all of a sudden, we may have to start talking about fuel. And then you start to talk about guys like Cody Nagels, guys like Jeff Merck that pit under our last couple of yellows that are definitely going to be good on fuel. You topped off fuel, you took a fast repair, you got back out on the racetrack. So guys back there, Ellis, Merck, Nagels, Mullahan, they're good. They can definitely go. The rest of the race, Carruthers probably can as well. So guys like that, they're good. Guys up front, however, Dylan Jones, Gabe Butler, Navarro, Kenny, Basson, guys that haven't pit in a while. You see them on the apron, and that is for a reason. They are saving hard right now, trying to make this second green-white checkered attempt and preparing for a third one. So that is a good call. Navarro did come to pit road when he had to serve a penalty earlier on in the race, so he's good as well. So we know Navarro's good, although he is on the apron still. So we'll see, but he most likely is good to the end. We will rack him up. Once again, second green-white checkered attempt will come up here. So we will rack him up. Looks like Dylan's going to take the inside line. Yep, Gabe Butler will flank him to his outside. And we will re-rack this field one more time for another attempt at a green-white checkered. What a night it's been. What a chaotic night it's been at that. But a great night nonetheless. Pure intensity from the start of our LCQ to now. Big moments for almost everyone in the field, it seems. Everyone having to go through some adversity to get to this point. And still 2 laps to go in this race. So A lot still to happen in the next 5.5 miles or so, assuming we run it to the end right here. Obviously, one more caution sends us into that unique third green-white checkered, where all of a sudden, depending on where the wreck occurs, could be going to a first in PGR to determine our finishing results. So, obviously, these guys are hoping we finish it right here, and we find out who's going to get those big payouts. Let's get a look at some teammates up here. McCullough Motorsports has Kenny McCullough, John Ward. I'm unsure if David Sheets is running with them, but he has in the past. He's running 6th. They are lined up. I'm looking for teammates for Dylan Jones. I don't see any of them. I think the closest would be back to John Ellis. So not a ton of help for the 11 truck here. Mike Davenport for PGR. He's up here near the front, inside row number 4. OSM Sean Corbett. Josh Penland out of the LCQ. Clint Moda out of the LCQ. David Warner out of the LCQ. How about the LCQ boys representing here late in this one? But regardless, they got some work to do. Second attempt at a green-white checkered. The pace car makes that long, hard left turn down to pit road and leaves the field in the hands of the mains team's Dylan Jones. Into the restart zone he comes. Who's going to get the better push? Who's going to get a better start? Who's going home with that big payday? 2 laps to go. Green-white at checkered attempt number 2. Green flag back in the air from Talladega. And the lines even up. Dylan Jones, Gabe Butler, pretty much dead even, headed to 1. The help comes to him in the form of Navarro and McCullough. 2 by 2. Jones is going to get clear for the lead. Headed towards that backstretch.
As you see Jones hop up, they get really squirrely in the middle lane. No one really looking 3 wide now. You see some takers, but Dylan Jones really in control of this field. He's all over the place with Gabe Butler on his back bumper. Gabe Butler's going to try and clear to the bottom. I don't think he'll get it in time. Look for Jones to hop back to the bottom whenever that run comes. There he goes.
Oh, he does, but it's a big moment as McCullough got into the 42 of Navarro, so that stalls the line. Jones has to think better. Butler looks top. Still looking top. Now he hops back in line. Gabe Butler is squirrely all over the place. Now he goes out to the 3rd line for the lead.
He gets hung
They're going to go get hung 4 wide for the race lead. Coming to the white flag, we're 5 wide. Do we make the white flag? I think we do. 5 wide briefly. Mullahan and Ellis, 5 wide trouble. McCullough's around. Blanchard, Sheets, Ellis, and others. A ton of trucks in it. We stay up front. We'll look back at it in a minute. Up front, all Andrew Navarro with the help of Dylan Basson. This is all of a sudden a breakaway. All of a sudden now, halfway down the back straightaway, it's a breakaway for Andrew Navarro, Dylan Basson, Dylan Jones. Who's going to be the first to move? Davenport is in the catbird seat if these guys get out of shape. We'll look back a little further as we get to it. But off turn number 4, here we go. 3 trucks for the win. Who's the first to move? Dylan Basson. Jones goes with him. Now Jones bails to the bottom with Navarro. Davenport's got help if these guys get out of shape in the form of John Ward. Through the tri-oval, all the way back to the checker flag. Does Jones get a look at it here? He's going to get clear. Does he take a look? He does not. Now he does. Andrew Navarro wins PGR Thursday Night Heat.
What a finish. No turnpike. Looked like he passed below the yellow there. He got DQ'd. Not able to do that. Looks like clean finish up front, though, after the wreck happened. Great race to the line for the survivors there.
And survivors it was. We'll briefly get a look at our wreck here. First one I saw get out of shape, and we're going to have to look for it here, I think, was Kenny McCullough. Oh, boy, he's already wrecked. So this was, we have to go back a little bit. This was nuts in the trial. They hung David Warner and Chris Blanchard hung Gabe Butler out. We end up 5 wide briefly here for a moment. And obviously that's not going to work. They squeeze. And unfortunately Warner's going to get a piece of Kenny McCullough. And it is on from there. Butler, Blanchard, Sheets, Ellis, Eberhardt, Corbett. Davenport actually gets a piece of it but gets past it. Matt Lee, not lucky enough to get through that one. Jason Maines, yet again involved. Same with Austin Green. Jeff Merck is going to bounce off the outside wall hard. Huge hit for Jeff Merck in the 60 machine. So we'll look up a little bit further. Oh, my goodness. This is a massive wreck. Several trucks up in the air. Christian Sanford, Casey Soul. Merck actually barrel rolls. Danny Barnes. This is about everybody from 15th on back as they all got... Oh, wow. Josh Penland ended up spinning as well there somehow. Wow. So a massive wreck as we went 5 wide. And Andrew Navarro, I guess, was not one for long celebrations tonight. Yep. So Navarro going to make it quick on the celebration, but he ends up winning it. I don't think he gets the bonus, and in fact, I know that he did not lead enough laps tonight, but he does come home with the win nonetheless. We'll go through your finishing results first, and then we'll get you top 3 for some post-race interviews here in just 1 second. So we'll get that here for you shortly. And what a wild race that ended up being. And we're going to look at our finishing results just briefly for you here. So, Andrew Navarro, after all of that, comes home with the victory. Dylan Jones sufficed with second, with Dylan Basson going home in third. How about Mike Davenport for PGR? He finishes fourth. John Ward recovers to finish fifth. Another big day for the 92. Dustin Carruthers finishes sixth tonight. Devin Ray goes seventh. And Cody Nagels gets our last cash spot in the 8th position. Caleb Sibbett just short in 9th. Round out your top 10, Josh Robinson. I'll go a little bit further back, give Baker a chance to sort out what's going on here at the end of this race. Casey Soul will finish 11th tonight. Ryan Baste in 12th. Austin Green, the Green Ghost, finishes just short of the money in 13th. Christian Sanford finishes in 14th tonight. Gabe Butler rounding out the top 15. Jason Maines comes home in 16th. Danny Barnes for PGR in 17th. Sean Corbett in 18th. Kenny McCullough in 19th. Clint Moda rounds out the top 20 in tonight's feature event. So we get this scrolling a little further up. David Werner comes home in 21st. Chris Blanchard in 22nd. David Sheets in 23rd position tonight. Jeff Merck, what a tough break it was for him. He finishes in 24th. John Mullahan in 25th. John Ellis finishes 26th with Daniel Eberhardt in 27th. Josh Penland, great run for him, and ends in Sparks. He finishes 28th. Matt Lee in 29th, and David McGuire will round out your top 30. Rounding out the field quickly here. Dylan Blackwell, 31st. Bradley Stefane in 32nd. Ron Morris in 33rd. Steve Karosik, 34th. William Fox, 35th. Joey Doucette, 36th. Jacob Emery in 37th. Heath Job in 38th. Chris McCullough in 39th. DJ Thomas in 40th. Last 3 trucks in the field tonight. Kenneth Stamper, Zach Lima, and Noah Terpak. So, with all of that said, we are going to get your top 3 here just briefly and get their opinions on tonight's race. And why don't we we'll go in backwards order tonight. We'll start with our 3rd place finisher Dylan Basson, unless we've already got somebody up here. I can't see off the top of my head.
We got Dylan here. Dylan, this is Dawson and Matt up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, that race was nothing but a clean race. Chaotic the whole way through, ARCA breaking throughout the pack. How did you get it done, get through that wreck there to get the 3rd place?
I mean, honestly, I was half asleep, so I kind of was just like, I wasn't even like thinking of anything else, just driving and doing whatever worked, and I guess got me through that wreck. So kind of was on autopilot right there through all that. Kind of screwed myself at the finish. When I should have realized the 2 would have worked together, but at least I finished in the money for once. It's been a long time.
Well, nonetheless, it's a good finish. Good to see you back in the podium spot, in the money spot. You're a great super speedway racer, and it's good to see that the result paid off for you. And anyone you want to thank or shout out?
It's them seats and Elliott Sadler Esports.
All right, man. A few words. Dylan Basin with 3rd place finish. Thanks, man.
Yep, thank you.
That's our 3rd place finisher, Dylan Basson. We'll move to our next podium step, and that is Dylan Jones. Hey, Dylan, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
Well, you come home in 2nd. What a chaotic race that was. Kind of take us through your night, how you ended up P2.
Well, we missed the grid, and then I don't really know. It was a clean night for me. I didn't even get a 0x, I think, but pretty rare to be stuck in the back here and make it all the way there without getting wrecked. It's a challenge in these bad boys with all these cars. It's probably out of all the money racing, it's the hardest ones to get up front. So it's definitely rewarding when you do.
Yeah, it is, and you come home P2. We saw you come through with a chance to win the race. Did you think you had to look at it right there, or were you just going to kind of suffice to push Navarro there through the tri-oval?
Well, if Dylan didn't move up, I was going to take the move out of 4 and try and side draft. Otherwise, if he moved up, I knew Navarro had a chance at winning a bunch of extra money. I didn't know where he was at laps led. So I figured, well, I'll be a nice guy, and if he can get an extra $250, he might slip me something here.
Well, certainly.
But he didn't have the most lead laps.
Yeah,
so.
and certainly still a good effort out of him and a good effort out of you as well. So second place finish tonight. It's a great run for you. Like you said, a clean run. So anybody you want to thank for it?
Just thank PGR and everyone at Ghost Racing. I'll have to watch it after this, and all the drivers for not hitting me tonight.
All right. Well, certainly a great clean run for you. Congrats on that second place finish. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thanks.
And that leaves us with the man of the hour, Mr. Andrew Navarro, and Baker. I think you've caught up with him.
Hey, Andrew, it's Matt and Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, you worked your way to the front towards the middle of the race, had a little bit of a mix-up there with Jason, got sent back to the back. Talked us through getting back through the field in that back half of the race and how chaotic it was.
I really don't know how I got back up to the front. I just missed all the wrecks. And obviously coming through the LCQ was not intended, actually. I got a penalty when I was trying to qualify, and it was already too late to back out. Apparently I crossed the line, the yellow line, before the blue cone, so didn't want to start in the LCQ, ended up winning it, so I'm happy I did have the bad luck. And then obviously I think if I don't get the black flag there in the feature, or the EOL, I don't think I would have made it to the finish. I would have been involved in one of those big wrecks, so just got really lucky.
Well, you can take your race control for that, for the blessing in disguise, but you get 2 out of the 3 wickets, come up short on the laps led, really weren't up front, and once you got up there, you had to go back to the back, but nonetheless, I mean, you get through the field, get through the wrecks, that crazy 5 wide, coming to the white flag, you had a lot of good support, coming to the front all day. Anyone you want to thank there?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Premier Racing Setups, Platinum Performance, 7Cs, Martin Sports, everybody on the truck, you guys for broadcasting, and then Michael for putting on the race.
Absolutely. Thanks for talking to us, Andrew. Great win.
Thank you.
And that is your winner, Andrew Navarro. What an effort from him tonight. What an effort from everybody tonight. What a night it was. Another great night of Thursday night heat racing. I just can't say enough about these guys. These guys always put on a show. And yet again, they did it as chaotic as it was. We still found a way to have a really great finish. Baker, your final thoughts here as we wrap this one up.
Yeah, it was chaos the whole race. Took us into the Friday morning. If you're still out there watching, thanks for watching, sticking around, seeing the crazy finish. We're going to have some good screenshots, some good videos coming out later on in the week, highlights of that race. But congrats to Andrew there, taking the LCQ and the feature win. It just comes up a little bit short of that 250 bonus, but nonetheless a great race.
A great race indeed. That's going to do it for us here from Talladega Superspeedway. Andrew Navarro wins this week's edition of Thursday Night Heat. I'd like to thank Austin for letting me jump up here and ramble to you guys about racing for a couple hours. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. Certainly enjoyed all the support we got. And until next time, guys, I can't wait. Join us back here for Tuesday Night Thunder on Ghost Racing Network. A lot of stuff going on between now and then. So keep on tuning in. Keep on watching. Keep on supporting these guys, and they'll keep putting on a show for you. For my partner up here, Matthew Baker, my name is Doug.